International Youth Future City, loft high-end apartment. Before that, Yi Chen and Hu Xiaoyao found a moving company, loaded all the things onto a truck, and then transported them here. The two of them arrived at the apartment one step ahead. I just didn't expect it. I had just parked the car, left the parking lot, and was on my way to the sales department when I heard a familiar voice. Brother Liu, buying me such a nice house in this area must be very expensive, right? Zhou Qing looked at Liu Tao beside her. Her eyes narrowed into slits. When I was dating Yi Chen, let alone buying a house, I had to plan even for buying vegetables, and life was very tight. It's not like now, where you can actually own a house in Shanghai, where every inch of land is worth a lot of money. It's not expensive, only 5 million. Liu Tao waved his hand and said nonchalantly, 5 million. Oh my God, I can never earn that much money in my entire life. Zhou Qing was secretly shocked. Her eyes wide open, she couldn't believe it. She dreams of owning a house so that she can feel a sense of belonging. My dear, you've been doing well recently, so here's a reward for you. While Liu Tao was talking, he was touching around dishonestly with his hands. Recently, Zhou Qing has been behaving well in front of her buddy, making him very happy. As for the house, the owner's name is of course Liu Tao. He is not stupid. If he gets tired of playing one day, he can get away with it smoothly, right? Brother Liu, you are so nice to me. Am I dreaming? Zhou Qing leaned over and kissed him, completely unaware of Liu Tao's wishful thinking. Even though this house is only 60 square meters, it faces west and is located on the outermost side of the road. But for her, it is still an unattainable dream. Now that my dream has come true, of course I have to cling to Liu Tao's thigh. Only, Zhou Qing never expected that she would run into Yi Chen again, just after coming out of the sales department. Hey, isn't this Yi Chen? Why do you work here? Zhou Qing walked forward in her high heels, looking disdainful. In her opinion, this is one of the best quality apartments in Shanghai. How could a loser like Yi Chen possibly afford it? But she looked at Hu Xiaoyao beside Yi Chen with even more disdain. Isn't this Hu Xiaoyao? Seeing them talking and laughing just now, could it be possible that they've been having an affair for a long time? HMPH, luckily I dumped him. Otherwise, I don't know when he would have cheated on me. Thinking of this, Zhou Qing's face darkened, and she became angry and furious. When Liu Tao looked at Hu Xiaoyao, he found that her beauty was no less than Zhou Qing, and her sweet and innocent temperament was even more fascinating. Damn it, this Yi Chen is also a master of playing with women. It turns out that handsome men can do whatever they want. Liu Tao cursed in his heart, feeling envious and jealous of Yi Chen. Thinking of this, he walked forward, squinted his eyes, and said, Baby, your ex-boyfriend also wants to buy a house here. Brother Liu, what are you talking about? Him? How could he possibly afford it? Dream on. Zhou Qing snorted coldly with a look of disdain. Yi Chen shook his head when he saw this. Zhou Qing was becoming more and more annoying. How was I so blind before that I treated her like a treasure? Hu Xiaoyao couldn't help herself at this moment. She stared at Zhou Qing and Liu Tao and asked, Why can't he afford it? Oh, then you should let Yi Chen buy it. Zhou Qing laughed out of anger and couldn't help but sneer. Who knows? At this time, Xiao Liu from the sales department walked over quickly. She ignored Liu Tao and Zhou Qing and huddled up to Yi Chen, eagerly asking, Mr. Yi, you're here. Why didn't you tell me in advance so I could send a car to pick you up? Oh, and all the handover paperwork is ready. You can move in now. Hearing this, Zhou Qing's smile froze on her face instantly. What, they live here? She never expected that Yi Chen and Hu Xiaoyao actually bought an apartment here. Why is there a problem? Mr. Yi and Ms. Hu bought 2 apartments in our top-tier building. They have the best and largest layout, and the price is also the most expensive. Xiao Liu looked at Zhou Qing with an impatient look on his face. Okay, Mr. Yi and Ms. Hu still have to move. They don't have time to chat with you guys. After Xiao Liu finished speaking, he turned around and looked at Yi Chen and Hu Xiaoyao, putting on a friendly smile. Mr. Yi, Ms. Hu, please come this way. I'll take you upstairs for verification. It was not until the 3 people walked away that Zhou Qing came to her senses from her shock. She never expected that Yi Chen actually bought an apartment here, and it sounded much better than hers. It must be that white-collar vixen Hu Xiaoyao who's supporting him. Otherwise, where would he get the money to buy an apartment? Just wait, you two are going to be in trouble, Zhou Qing said angrily, and suddenly felt that her 5 million apartment was not attractive anymore, with a look of dejection on her face. Seeing her like this, Liu Tao shook his head and asked impatiently, What are you staring at? Are you going to buy the house or not? Zhou Qing quickly said, Buy it, of course. In the apartment, Hu Zioao said to Yi Chen. Yi Chen, you obviously bought a house here, why didn't you tell me? That's not necessary. You've seen her like this. Even looking at her any longer would make me feel sick. Haha, but honestly, I didn't expect her to be so snobbish. The guy next to her must be at least 6 or 7 years older than her and weigh about 200 pounds, right? Yi Chen nodded. He was fine, but Hu Zioao suddenly fell silent. Obviously, she also thought of her ex-boyfriend. Don't think about it, we still have to move house, and after that we have to cook. Yi Chen patted her little head and reminded her. Okay, I'll let you taste my cooking skills later. Golden Rose Nightclub. Peng Shuai sat in the main seat of the box with a tall and handsome figure, smoking a cigarette and surrounded by girls. Opposite him was a well-mannered young man wearing gold-rimmed glasses. He is Peng Shuai's best friend, Han Feng. Han Feng glanced at the woman next to Peng Shuai. She was pretty and young, but she was wearing heavy makeup, which made him feel a little nauseous. Old Han, you've been abroad for a few years now, and your standards have gotten higher and higher. You can't even look down on this kind of stuff. Peng Shuai couldn't help but tease when she saw this. You call this a commodity. I'm not saying anything bad about you, Peng Shuai, but your standards are getting lower and lower. Han Feng shook his head and frowned. You were looking for me earlier, picking me up right after I got off the plane, and even hosting me in this Golden Rose den. What's the matter? Hearing this, Peng Shuai put away her playful smile. You guys get out first. He pushed away the 2 young girls beside him. After they left and closed the door, Peng Shuai said seriously, My dear, I fell flat on my face at AI Shang Medical Beauty's Lin Wanmo's head. You must help me get rid of this anger. A Shang Medical Beauty, Lin Wanmo, I've heard of her abroad before. She's quite pretty and capable, but are you really no match for her? Han Feng said with a little surprise. It's not her. She alone is not something I can control, but there is someone you are definitely interested in. I can only say that she is unfathomable. Peng Shuai took a deep puff of her cigarette, stubbed out the butt, and said viciously, Oh, unfathomable. Han Feng's eyes lit up, and he immediately became interested. Who is it? Yi Chen. Chapter 32, Fuxi 9 Needles, Ning Lao's Shock. The next morning, Yi Chen had just finished breakfast when Gu Xinling called. Hey, Yi Chen, are you up? You promised my grandfather that you would treat his injuries today, don't forget. I haven't forgotten. By the way, are the medical tools and supplementary herbs I asked you to prepare ready? It's already been done. Do you want me to send someone to pick you up? No need, I've moved to a new place. I'll go there by myself. After hanging up the phone, Gu Xinling sent the phone location. Yi Chen left the community and took a taxi. And not long after he left, at the corner of the community, an ordinary Volkswagen appeared. The 2 people sitting in the car were Han Feng and Peng Shuai. Hey, old Han, I squatted here all night last night and did nothing. I'm so miserable. Do you still want to follow me? Peng Shuai complained to Han Feng. Last night, after welcoming Han Feng, he drove his old Volkswagen to Yi Chen's residence. After staying in bed all night, my arms and legs were sore and swollen, and I felt extremely uncomfortable. What, you can't even bear this little bit of hardship? Why don't we just give up? Han Feng smiled slightly, a harmless smile. However, when Peng Shuai saw this, she couldn't help but shudder. This, I just said it casually, old Han, don't take it seriously. Just tell me what to do, I won't frown. What a joke, Han Feng's nickname is Madman. If you piss him off, the consequences will be disastrous. Once, someone in the circle made fun of Han Feng, who knew that the next day the body was thrown into a stinking ditch. Its body covered with wounds from snakes and scorpions. It was extremely horrifying. He is your enemy. If you don't even understand his movements and habits, how can you attack him? Yang Liu Road Royal Garden Villa. Let's go and follow him to see who he's hanging out with. After Han Feng finished speaking, he hung far behind the taxi. Royal Garden Villa, Yang Liu Road. Although this place is close to the most prosperous area of Shanghai, it has a lake in the city. The environment is beautiful and fresh, and there is no noisy noise. At the entrance of the villa, after getting off the car, he saw Gu Xinling's slim figure. Yi Chen this way. Gu Xinling waved and smiled at him. Yi Chen also waved his hand, but for some reason, he always felt that someone was watching him secretly. But when I turned around, apart from the people entering and leaving the villa, was there anyone else? Is it my illusion? Yi Chen shook his head without thinking too much and followed Gu Xinling inside. After crossing several greenways, we arrived at a townhouse. Gu Qingshan and an old man were standing at the door. When they saw Yi Chen, they hurried over to greet him. Brother Yi, please forgive me for asking you to come so early on this weekend. Gu Qingshan clasped his fists, a hint of apology on his face. He pointed to the old man beside him and introduced him. "Brother Yi, this is Ning Huilu, a medical master and one of the best in the country. You're too kind. My humble cultivation is a world away from young Master Yi's. That recipe couldn't have been written without decades of immersion in traditional Chinese medicine, integrating ancient and modern prescriptions. This alone makes me admire you immensely." What surprised me even more was that Brother Yi was so young. He must be in his early 20s, right? Compared to Brother Yi, I've lived in vain at my age. Ning Huilu shook his head and looked at Yi Chen with curiosity and admiration on his face. "You're being modest. Yi Chen only got an ancient prescription occasionally. When it comes to Chinese medicine skills, how can he compare with the national masters?" Yi Chen was not arrogant, but instead kept a low profile. After a few pleasantries, Gu Zinling said impatiently, "Oh, if we continue chatting, it's almost time for lunch. Didn't Yi Chen come here to treat your injury, Grandpa?" Okay, it's Grandpa's fault." Gu Qingshan glared at him and extended his hand in a gesture of invitation. "Brother Yi, please come this way." "Good." Yi Chen followed them to the medical room prepared by Gu Zinling. "Yi Chen, here are all the things you asked me to prepare. Do you think you need anything?" Yi Chen went forward to check and saw a set of sterilized silver needles ready for use, about 1.5 inches long and shining silver. There are also several medicinal herbs that assist in healing injuries, all of which are genuine products, and definitely not the artificially cultivated and watered-down kinds sold out there. It is conceivable that in order to cure her grandfather Gu Qingshan, Gu Zinling made sufficient preparations. "No problem, we can start now." Yi Chen nodded, his expression serious. "Okay, Zinling, you go out first." Gu Qingshan winked at Gu Zinling and said in a deep voice, "Yi Chen, you must cure my grandfather." Gu Zinling gave some instructions and reluctantly left the medical room. Gu Qingshan got on the bed, lay down, and opened his shirt. "Just see." There was a 3-inch long scar on his back under his armpit. Judging from the stitches, the wound must have been very deep and had damaged his lungs. Over the years, these old injuries began to recur due to weather changes. And Gu Qingshan has reached a critical juncture. If acupuncture is not used, even with the prescription given by Yi Chen, he probably won't live for more than a month. Yi Chen washed and disinfected his hands, then closed his eyes and slowly exhaled. Then, he suddenly opened his eyes. I saw endless brilliance in his eyes. At this moment, his energy and spirit were concentrated to the extreme. He crossed his hands, and with his left and right hands, he grabbed 8 silver needles at the same time. This move shocked Ning Huilu. "This is Fuxi 9 needles." But as soon as he said it, his face changed and he regretted it deeply. It is taboo to disturb Chinese medicine practitioners when they are performing acupuncture. As a practitioner and a famous doctor, it is really wrong for him to commit such a taboo. This is also because Yi Chen's move was too shocking. The 9 needles of Fuxi are said to have come from ancient times and have the power to create life. What a pity! It has long been lost and is only sporadically recorded in ancient books, and there are very few written records. However, it has always been highly respected and can be said to be the #1 method of acupuncture. This is hardly a medical skill, but a divine art. Fortunately, Yi Chen was not disturbed by him, but in just a few seconds, Yi Chen inserted the needle quickly. The whole action is smooth and done in one go. The positions of these 8 needles are also very special, just like the 8 diagrams. On the human body are Qian, Kun, Zhen, Dui, Can, Li, Zhen, and Zun. After 8 needles, Yi Chen actually put his fingers together and took out the 9th needle. The location of this 9th needle was none other than Gu Qingshan's heart. Even through the glass door, Gu Zinling couldn't help but exclaim. The 1.5 inch silver needle, about 5 centimeters long, was more than halfway inserted into the skin, making her scalp tingle. Acupuncture is so scary, I just don't know if it works. And inside the medical room, I'm fortunate enough to see Fuxi's 8 trigrams and 9 needles today. This is the blessing I've earned from practicing medicine for a lifetime. Ning Huilu's body trembled, his eyes lit up, and he was shocked to the extreme. Chapter 33, Acupuncture's Magical Effect. Peng Shuo is discovered. Yi Chen's acupuncture technique was so natural that even Ning Huilu, a national athlete, was shocked. Gu Zinling was dumbfounded and almost petrified. Shouldn't acupuncture be more cautious? Yi Chen solved it in just a few strokes, and the silver needle was inserted into a vital part. She narrowed her eyes and didn't dare to breathe. The scene became quiet and silent for a moment. Yi Chen turned to Ning Huilu and said, Old Ning, please take Gu Zinling to boil the medicine. Once the medicine is boiled, the acupuncture will be almost over. Good. Ning Hulu put aside all his fantasies, took the herbs, pushed the door open, and took Gu Zinling to boil medicine. Actually, given his status and position, he always has others helping him. How could he possibly help others? But facing the unfathomable Yi Chen, Mr. Ning is always willing. Maybe I'll ask him for advice after I finish healing. Yi Chen lowered his head and said to Gu Qingshan, Mr. Gu, the acupuncture process will take a while, you can take a break. He tapped Gu Qingshan's acupuncture points with his fingers. After a few minutes, Gu Qingshan fell into a deep sleep, even snoring softly. About 2 hours later, the medicine was ready. Gu Zinling carried the medicine and went into the medical room with Mr. Ning. Yi Chen, the medicine is ready. Ahem. When will the injection be taken? It was Gu Zinling's first time to boil medicine, and she got covered in dust and dirt, with a few black spots on her face like a tabby cat. Now, Yi Chen asked the two to step aside, then took a deep breath and began to take out the needle. His technique was as fast as lightning, and the speed of withdrawing the needle was even faster than the acupuncture. In just 2 or 3 strokes, 8 needles were removed. But, as soon as the needle in his heart was removed, Gu Qingshan suddenly spat out a large mouthful of dirty blood. Seeing this scene, Gu Zinling immediately became anxious and angrily said, Yi Chen, what are you doing? Aren't you treating Grandpa's injuries? Why are you suddenly vomiting blood? She quickly walked to Gu Qingshan and pushed him, but there was no movement. Grandpa, wake up quickly. Gu Zinling turned her head to look at Yi Chen, her face full of hatred and anger. That shouldn't be the case. The acupuncture technique just now was definitely Fuxie's 8 trigrams and 9 needles. There's nothing wrong with the acupuncture point movement. What's going on? Ning Hulu also frowned and shook his head. Who knows? Yi Chen looked calm and composed, without any sign of panic. Don't worry, he'll be fine. As expected, a few more seconds passed. How long have I been sleeping? Gu Qingshan opened his eyes, climbed out of bed, and even stretched. What's wrong with you guys? He saw that Gu Zinling and Ning Huilu looked a little strange, and couldn't help but frown and asked, Grandpa, are you okay? Are you really okay? That's great. Gu Zinling's eyes were sore, and after crying for a few times, she hugged Gu Qingshan. Ning Huilu reacted at this time and said, I know, that blood is blood stasis. It has never been cleared, which has affected Mr. Gu's health. Now, with the method of Fuxie 9 needles, after clearing these toxins, he can slowly recuperate and completely eradicate the old injury. Silly girl, I'm fine. I'm much better now, better than ever. Gu Qingshan patted her back and comforted her. He turned his head to look at Yi Chen, his face full of gratitude. Brother Yi, I used to always feel a dull pain in my lower abdomen, a burning sensation in my stomach, back pain, and difficulty breathing. Now all these problems are gone. That's good, but you still need to take good care of yourself from now on. No more strenuous exercise. Yi Chen smiled slightly and said to him, Next, Gu Zinling fed Gu Qingshan medicine, while Ning Huilu took Yi Chen aside and started exchanging medical experiences, especially the 9 needles of Fuxie. He was so embarrassed that he wanted to learn it even if he had to become a disciple. Yi Chen thought he couldn't do it. Almost an hour and a half later, Ning Huilu finally let out a long sigh. It's true that the disciple surpasses the master. Brother Yi's medical skills are beyond the reach of this old man. Mr. Ning is too modest. Every profession has its own expertise. I only have some knowledge of acupuncture. How can I compare to you, Mr. Ning? Ning Huilu liked Yi Chen very much because he was neither arrogant nor impatient. Brother Yi, are you interested in joining the Magic City Medical Association? The association is full of famous doctors in various fields in the Magic City, and some of them are even more powerful than me. Well, Mr. Ning, I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint you. Yi Chen shook his head and politely declined Ning Huilu's request. He was not very interested in medicine, and joining the association, although it gave him a glorious identity, was also a constraint. For him, it is far less enjoyable than being as free and easy as he is now. Okay, everyone has their own aspirations, and I can't force them. Ning Tianlu nodded. He also knew that young people nowadays could not stand the constraints of rules and regulations, so he did not force it. However, next time I will tell them about the Fuxie 9 needles. I would like to ask Brother Yi to help me finish the story. Okay, that's no problem. Yi Chen can actually meet this requirement. At this time, after taking a shower and changing his clothes, Gu Qingshan came with Gu Zinling. Before, a strange, morbid look appeared on Gu Qingshan's face, which was very hidden. But now all these are gone. His face even looks a little rosy, and he has obviously recovered his health. Yi Chen, come to think of it, you really saved my life this time. I have no way to repay you, so you must accept this meager consultation fee. After Gu Qingshan finished speaking, Gu Xinling handed Yi Chen a bank card without a password. Yi Chen thought about it and accepted it. Mr. Gu spent a lot of money. Yi Chen exchanged a few pleasantries and came out of the Imperial Garden Villa. Han Feng and Peng Shuai, who were sitting in the Volkswagen, quickly shrank their necks to avoid being discovered. I think I've seen this car outside the apartment. After Yi Chen's physical condition improved, his perception in all aspects has been unprecedentedly improved. It can't be said that he has a photographic memory, but it's almost the same. Thinking of this, he waved and hailed a taxi. Handsome guy, where are you going? The driver was a 40-year-old man with a big belly and a lovely smile on his face. Master, let's go to Millennium Road, but don't drive too fast. See if that silver Volkswagen behind us is following me. Yi Chen took out $200 bills and handed them over. Okay. The driver took the money and rubbed his hands nervously. Handsome guy, you stole someone's wife, so that's why others are following you. Yi Chen, drive carefully. In a Volkswagen. Damn it, I knew this guy had a complicated relationship with Gu Qingshan, but Wang Kao, that loser, couldn't even find out. Peng Shuai stared at the taxi in front of her with a sinister look on her face. Gu Qingshan, he's a lean camel, but that's all. Your Uncle Xiang isn't afraid of him, let alone me, I would be afraid. Han Feng stopped talking here and slammed on the brakes. Squeak! The violent inertia almost knocked Peng Shuai out and hit the barrier in front. Old Han, how do you drive? Shut up. Han Feng narrowed his eyes and suddenly laughed. I didn't expect that Yi Chen is really good. He actually found out that we were following him. Chapter 34, Lin Wanmo calls, Yaju Antique Street. Damn, we've been discovered. Old Han, what do we do now? Peng Shuai rubbed his forehead and cursed. No more, go home and rest. Han Feng shook his head. Now that Yi Chen has discovered me, there is no point in following me any further. He drove his car and went to the right side of the intersection. You're not following me anymore. Yi Chen frowned and fell into deep thought. It seems the other party is also quite alert, but I have never offended anyone except Wang Kao and Scar Baldy. It's just that Wang Kao was taken away and locked up. Scarface shouldn't be doing anything behind the scenes. Oh right, Peng Shuai, could it be him? Yi Chen thought of Peng Shuai. Before, he accidentally saw Wang Kao and Peng Shuai hooking up together, acting suspiciously. However, Wang Kao is still under interrogation, so it is impossible to confirm that he is the mastermind behind the incident. If it's him, then that makes sense. Thinking of this, Yi Chen's eyes flashed, and a hint of murderous intent flashed across his face. And at this time, the driver glanced at the rearview mirror and said, Handsome guy, that car is not following us anymore. Are we going back to Millennium Road? Yi Chen was about to nod when the phone rang. He picked it up and took a look. Unexpectedly, it was Lin Wanmo. Hey Lin Wanmo, what's wrong? He originally planned to call her Mr. Lin, but then he thought that it was not a good name, so he just called her Wanmo. Nothing, just asking if you're okay. I happen to be strolling around Times Square today. The company's affairs are back on track, and Scar Baldy's problem has been solved, and Yi Chen has made an indelible contribution to this. It is only right and reasonable that I should find an opportunity to thank him in person. This is not taking advantage of the weekend free time. She went to the Aishang Medical Beauty counter in Times Square to check out the sales situation. And this place is not far from the company, and there are many white-collar apartments around it. She was thinking about whether to find a new place for Yi Chen to live. Okay, I'll be there in a minute. Yi Chen hung up the phone and said to the driver, Master, go to Times Square. Okay, sit tight. Times Square. On weekends, there are a lot of people coming and going here, and the AI Shang Medical Beauty counter has returned to its former glory. Many women came out carrying large and small bags, with smiles on their faces. And at the entrance of the square, Lin Wanmo sat next to the fountain in the center of the square, holding a cup of lemon milk tea, looking at the flocks of pigeons flying in front of her, slightly lost in thought. She was wearing a white dress with a light green windbreaker, and she looked extremely slender. Her exquisite facial features are more like a beautiful scenery, attracting everyone's attention. Wow, look at that beauty, she's so pretty. Yeah, she's even prettier than the stars on TV. This outfit and temperament are absolutely amazing. Look, you're still looking. Do you believe I'll break up with you if you keep looking? What a shame. Such good-looking girls are mostly the target of rich second generations. If I could drive a Ferrari with one hand, I could also go up and chat with them. Hey, she looks familiar. Isn't this Lin Wanmo, the CEO of AI Shang Medical Beauty? I just bought her company's products at the counter. Yes, her company's products are cheap and effective. They are good value for money. I've been using them for more than half a year. By the way, what is she doing here alone? Is she waiting for someone? Amidst the discussion, Yi Chen got out of the taxi and walked towards Lin Wanmo. Lin Wanmo's eyes lit up when she saw Yi Chen in the crowd. She stood up, waved at him, and shouted, "Yi Chen here." At this moment, everyone watching was dumbfounded. I'm not seeing things. The beautiful CEO is actually waiting for someone. Yeah, and he's not a rich second generation who drives a Ferrari, Porsche, or Lamborghini sports car. But he came here in a taxi. Heaven earth, is Mr. Lin blind? Ah, you can't say that. Can't you see he's very handsome? What's the point of being handsome? Money is king these days. That's not necessarily true. If you look as handsome as him, it's possible that beautiful girls will pursue you. Okay, I think they're quite a good match, don't you? Hearing the discussions of the crowd, a blush appeared on Lin Wanmo's cold face. A good match. For some reason, when she saw Yi Chen approaching, a hint of panic flashed in her eyes and her heart was pounding. Seeing this, Yi Chen couldn't help but ask Lin Wanmo, "What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell?" "Ah, nothing. I've just been a little sleepy lately and craving spicy food, but otherwise I'm fine." Lin Wanmo quickly shook her head and replied to him, "By the way, this is for you." Lin Wanmo handed over the lemon milk tea in her hand. "For me." Yi Chen glanced at Lin Wanmo, took the milk tea, and felt mixed emotions for a moment. When I was with Zhou Qing before, he bought milk tea for Zhou Qing countless times, but Zhou Qing never bought him one, not even a cup. "Drink it quickly, or it will get cold." Lin Wanmo smiled slightly and urged him. "Okay, thank you." Yi Chen took a deep breath and drank the milk tea. This scene made the onlookers feel like they were being hit hard again. "Oh my God, this dog food is so sweet. Hey, who said being handsome is useless? This is so useful. If there was a beautiful girl like this who would buy me milk tea, I would be willing to live a few years less. I won't watch it anymore. My heart can't bear it." When Yi Chen heard this, he couldn't help but smile. He and Lin Wanmo walked side by side into Times Square, looking like a couple that everyone envied. This walk took more than half an hour. Even though Yi Chen's physique was beyond ordinary people, he couldn't hold on any longer. He looked at Lin Wanmo, but found that she was still in high spirits and didn't feel tired even wearing high heels. It felt a little incredible. Fortunately, she is different from Zhou Qing. Zhou Qing had no money and liked to buy things indiscriminately. He liked her at that time and gritted his teeth to satisfy her preferences. However, Lin Wanmo was rich, but she didn't buy anything casually. She just picked out a lipstick and a mascara, and they were not very expensive. The more I compare, the more I realize that Zhou Qing is vain. On the contrary, Lin Wanmo made him feel virtuous and lovely. And at this time, the two walked to a secluded back street. Yi Chen looked up. "Yaju Antique Street." Seeing this, Lin Wanmo said, "Yes, it's the only antique street in the Magic City. It's very famous. Don't you know it?" "I really don't know that." Yi Chen smiled slightly and shook his head. His previous life had nothing to do with antiques. And if he hadn't received the reward of the golden eyes, he wouldn't have been able to tell that the mutton-fat white jade was fake and the square lacquer box was a magic weapon. The most famous thing here is that 5 years ago, a piece of Yuan dynasty blue and white porcelain was unearthed and ended up in the hands of Mr. Tang Kaianian. He instantly became a leader in the antique world. It's just that this place is full of mixed people, and there are too many people from all walks of life. I've only been here twice. Having said that, she looked at Yi Chen. "If you're interested, I'll go shopping with you." Chapter 35. Treasure Hunt in Antique Street, Su Zhengyuan's Plan and the Mysterious Pendant. Yaju Antique Street. Compared with the trendy commercial areas with people coming and going, this place is no less bustling. Come and take a look, don't miss it if you pass by. Buy with confidence, buy boldly, don't hesitate, don't wander. If you hesitate or wander, you've come in vain. You don't need to bargain or haggle, every item is an amazing price. $20,000, just $20,000. You can't buy a house or a car, and you can't go to Singapore, but you can take this Lanshan white jade with rust. Boss, come and take a look. This is a top-quality golden Buddha statue. Put it in your home to protect your house and bless you with prosperity and good health for your family. However, apart from the shouting of some stall owners, the voices of customers are obviously much quieter. Whenever they see something that interests them, they will stop to ask and examine it carefully. There weren't many people who took action. I heard from others that almost all the things here are fakes, but I don't understand, I'm just looking around. Lin Wanmo was not very interested in these, and said to Yi Chen, "Only." She saw Yi Chen shine at the previous charity auction, and it was obvious that he had extremely high attainments. He spent half a day shopping with me on the weekend, so I spent some time with him. It was a return of favor. Well, the stuff here is too watery. It can only fool laymen. Let's just watch the fun. Yi Chen nodded and agreed with it. He swept his golden eyes across the street and saw that there were not two genuine items on the street. Strictly speaking, these two items are not genuine. They are just not fakes. It is an imitation with exquisite workmanship, which is indistinguishable from the real thing. Even this replica was considered the stall's most valuable item, with a conservative estimate of over a few 100,000, which was staggering. As for the Lanshan white jade and the golden Buddha statue that the stall owner mentioned just now, they are purely to deceive people. The cost is only 1 or 200 yuan at most. If you really buy it, you will lose a lot of money. Just when Yi Chen was bored, suddenly, a stranger walked up to him. "Hello, are you Mr. Yi Chen?" "Well, you are." Yi Chen frowned and looked at the stranger in front of him. He was probably in his early 40s, thin, and looked smart and capable. Su Gang, the driver and assistant of Su Zhengyuan of the Zhengyuan Group. "Mr. Su invites you to have a chat at Yipanjai." Su Gang smiled slightly and pointed towards Yipanjai not far away. "Su Zhengyuan," Yi Chen suddenly realized and looked back at Lin Wanmo. "By the way, Mr. Su said that President Lin can also go together." Seeing this, Su Gang added a sentence. "Okay then, let's go take a look together." Lin Wanmo was also a little curious and said to Yi Chen, even though she had dealt with Su Zhengyuan several times, they were only superficial encounters, and they did not have a deep friendship at all. After all, with her status and position, she cannot be compared with a behemoth like Su Zhengyuan. "Good." Yi Chen nodded, and together with Lin Wanmo and Su Gang, they came to Yipanjai. It's completely different from the stalls outside. Although this Pinjai is deserted, it is decorated magnificently and is extremely classical and elegant. The antique glazed tiles, dark-toned solid wood ornaments, and the famous calligraphy and paintings hanging in the living room are all examples of the style of the owner of Yipanjai. Even Lin Wanmo couldn't help but whisper, "This Yipanjai is very famous, and the things they sell are very expensive." When Tang Kaianian found a yuan blue and white porcelain at a bargain price, the owner of Yipanjai offered a whopping 100 million yuan, but he didn't sell it. And at this time, Su Zhengyuan walked over. He is in his 50s, but looks very young, about the same age as Su Gang. And he said to Yi Chen and Lin Wanmo with a kind smile on his face, "Mr. Yi, President Lin, I'm sorry for the inconvenience of inviting you here." "No problem." Yi Chen shook his head, stared at Su Zhengyuan for a few seconds, and frowned slightly. "Mr. Su is a very busy man. He must have something to ask us to come over, right?" Lin Wanmo blinked and asked Su Zhengyuan. "Good." Su Zhengyuan's expression became serious, and he stared at Yi Chen with a cautious look. "Mr. Yi, the truth is, I bought that piece of mutton fat white jade from a jade dealer at a charity auction. I spent several million on it." Hearing this, Yi Chen looked normal. Lin Wanmo, who was standing by, was shocked. It seems that the mutton fat white jade is indeed fake. Otherwise, Su Zhengyuan wouldn't have made such a big fuss and asked Yi Chen and me to come over. Yi Chen's eye for treasure appraisal is absolutely genuine. That mutton fat white jade is indeed fake. Peng Shuai, the son of the Peng Group, bought it and had it authenticated. It turned out to be fake. It's thanks to Mr. Yi's warning. Otherwise, if it had been exposed, my reputation as Su Zhengyuan would have been completely ruined. I was planning to look for you these 2 days, but I didn't expect that when I first arrived at Yipanjai, I saw you guys strolling around. What a coincidence. When Su Zhengyuan said this, his smile became even warmer and he winked at Su Gang. Su Gang brought a pot of tea from the back hall and said, "This is the best Minkian Longjing tea. It's in short supply. You two can try some." Taking the tea, Yi Chen took a sip and said, "If you often walk by the river, you will get your feet wet. I was just lucky enough to see a clue. It seems that Peng Shuai is not stupid. She must have asked someone to identify it privately. He spent 15 million to buy a fake jade. It would be strange if he wasn't furious." "Mr. Yi, please don't say that." Having said that, Su Zhengyuan changed the subject. "It just so happens that Yipanjai has just purchased some collections and seed materials. Is Mr. Yi interested in taking a look?" "Oh." Yi Chen looked at Su Zhengyuan and raised his eyebrows. Others thought that Su Zhengyuan was always smiling and amiable. But Yi Chen could see that this was an old fox with a dagger hidden behind his smile. Not to mention the square lacquer box before. This harmful thing was made by Su Zhengyuan. The emotion he just felt was also because the aura on Su Zhengyuan had the same origin as the evil spirit in the square lacquer box. It seems the recent events at the Zhengyuan group are definitely related to him. Don't worry, Mr. Yi. I don't mean to ask you to work for nothing. I just want to keep an eye on it and check it out. By the way, this is the pendant that came with the square lacquer box. It's for Mr. Yi. Su Zhengyuan brought over a palm-sized box from the side. After opening it, it turned out to be a pendant with an ancient shape. The material of this pendant is exactly the same as that of the square lacquer box, and its composition cannot be seen. Another magical weapon. No, it's also been corroded by evil spirits. No wonder Su Zhengyuan is so kind. It seems he's been tortured by these two things and is afraid of them. Yi Chen looked embarrassed when he thought of this. Mr. Su, you think too highly of me. Otherwise, we should find a professional treasure appraiser. The kind with a certificate is more useful. Hearing this, Su Zhengyuan became anxious. Mr. Yi, you can't say that. You are the real expert, you don't show off. How about this? If Mr. Yi is willing to help, Mr. Yi can pick any one of those seed materials, and it will be considered as a good relationship for Su. Chapter 36, Peng Shua. Yi Chen, do you dare to gamble with me on stones? Yi Chen fell into deep thought. Obviously, Su Zhengyuan is not a good person, but it would be unreasonable not to take advantage of the benefits. It doesn't matter if I just take a look. Boss Su has already said this. If Yi Chen refuses again, it would be too inhumane. But let me make it clear in advance, everyone makes mistakes sometimes. If I can't see clearly, please don't be offended, Mr. Su. Yi Chen nodded and said to Su Zhengyuan, No problem. Su Zhengyuan was obviously relieved, and a look of joy appeared on his face. Mr. Yi, Mr. Lin, please wait a moment. I'll make the arrangements right away. Su Zhengyuan winked at Su Gang, asking him to stay with him while he went to prepare new collections and seed materials. It was already noon, and Su Gang made some exquisite snacks. About half an hour later, Su Zhengyuan came back. Only, there were many people following behind him. Judging from their clothes and appearance, they are either rich or noble, and most of them are middle-aged or elderly. Yi Chen raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect to see Peng Shuai. On the side, Lin Wanmo also frowned. He whispered, Yi Chen, Peng Shuai is here too. Why don't we just leave and not get involved in this mess? Besides disliking Peng Shuai, she also has a deep fear of her. Wang Kao appears to be powerful but is actually weak, and it's obvious at first glance that he's not the one in charge. And Peng Shuai happened to be present every time something happened at the company. How could she not become suspicious? It's okay, I'm here. Yi Chen smiled slightly, looking calm. Isn't it that Wang Kao is holding on to his confession, and there is no evidence to be found? Peng Shuai is here for us, so let's see if we can dig out something useful. Only, Yi Chen's eyelids jumped when he saw someone next to Peng Shuai. Who is this person? He gives people an extremely sinister feeling, like a poisonous snake. Since his physical condition improved significantly, Yi Chen's perception ability has been greatly improved. This is the first time he has encountered such a person. This person is naturally Han Feng. Yi Chen was looking at him, and he was also looking at Yi Chen. I didn't expect that I would meet him in person just now, even though I was following him. What a coincidence. Han Feng smiled sinisterly and waved at Yi Chen. Peng Shuai frowned and said, Old Han, why are you greeting that stinky loser? Look at his reaction. Han Feng narrowed his eyes and said indifferently, I don't know why. Han Feng can see through Peng Shuai. From top to bottom, there is no secret at all. But looking at Yi Chen, he was like a pool of water, bottomless. Haha, this is interesting, isn't it? To him, if Yi Chen was the same as an ordinary person, what would be the challenge? And at this time, Su Zhengyuan coughed lightly and said, It's like this. Everyone knows that I have acquired a new batch of collections, including the original seed material from Myanmar. Today, I am honored to invite you all to come and appreciate it. It is my honor, Su Zhengyuan. I implore everyone to go to the exhibition hall to take a look. Yi Chen discovered that many of these people had been seen at previous charity auctions. Among them is the famous artist Tang Kaianian. Tang Kaianian walked up to Su Zhengyuan and said, Boss Su invited us here with such fanfare. There must be some good stuff here. Of course, Mr. Tang, please give me some face. If you pick up all the good stuff, I'll be at a huge loss. Ha ha ha, Mr. Su has a huge family and a lot of wealth. Even if they move away, it's just a drop in the bucket. It seems that Su Zhengyuan is planning to sell these things to Tang Kaianian and the others. He only asked me to come here to check them out. Thinking of this, Yi Chen followed Lin Wanmo into the exhibition hall at the back. Fortunately, Peng Shuai had Han Feng with him, so he didn't go to Lin Wanmo to say hello. This batch of new collections includes everything from antiques, calligraphy and paintings, bronze, gold, iron, porcelain, and ethnic art. Many people were secretly shocked by what they saw. This is incredible. Look at the patterns on it. This must be silk from 800 years ago. It's so well preserved. It will definitely sell for a fortune. No matter how fine the silk is, it's not worth much. Look at this exquisite porcelain, it's truly priceless. If you ask me, this calligraphy and painting is still superior. It is the work of a famous artist, and it is a masterpiece from the heyday of the great master. It has high cultural value. This agarwood Buddha statue is incredible. It's immortal and will last for 1,000 years. If I put it in my home to protect it, it will definitely bring good feng shui. And this Warring States period cavalry dagger has very little rust on it. It's incredible. Hearing these discussions, Yi Chen glanced with his golden eyes and felt that the trip was indeed worthwhile. Almost all of the ones outside just now were fakes. This collection was obviously carefully prepared by Su Zhengyuan. Every piece is authentic and looks pleasing to the eye. Lin Wanmo followed Yi Chen and took a quick look. For her, she was not actually interested. But as long as Yi Chen was by her side, she would always feel extremely safe. Mr. Yi, you can take a look at these collections. If there is anything wrong, please point it out. Su Zhengyuan came over and whispered. Of course, the most important thing is these seed materials. I wonder if you have heard of gambling on stones. Yi Chen nodded. Gambling on jadeite stones is a way of trading jadeite raw stones. It is popular in the Yunnan-Myanmar border area and has a gambling nature. When jade is mined, it is covered with a layer of weathered skin, and it is impossible to know the quality inside. Only after cutting can the value of the jade be known. The business of gambling on stones requires a great ability to challenge and a spirit of adventure, as well as rich experience. In the gambling stone market, I have seen people become rich overnight, but of course, there are also people who lose everything overnight. It is precisely because of this excitement that it has gradually become popular in the antique world, where antiques are worth a lot of money. I wonder if Mr. Yi has any research on seed materials. Su Zhengyuan asked. I know a thing or two, so I can probably figure it out. When Yi Chen said this, a sarcastic voice sounded beside him. Hey, who is so boastful? He actually knows a thing or two about seed materials. Peng Shuai, holding a cigarette, walked over with Han Feng, looked at Yi Chen with disdain. This sound also attracted the attention of many people. Know a little bit. No one dares to say that when it comes to seed materials and gambling stones. Yes, even the most sophisticated instruments cannot detect the structure inside jade. Only after cutting it can we know the true and false. You're young, but you're talking big. We've been immersed in this for decades, and we've only learned the basics. Ha ha ha, I'd like to see which piece of seed material this kid has his eyes on later. Amidst the laughter of the crowd, Yi Chen remained calm. This demeanor alone made Su Zhengyuan secretly give a thumbs up. Lin Wanmo didn't expect Peng Shuai to come to her door, and she couldn't help but say coldly, whether Yi Chen understands or not, what does it have to do with you? It's none of my business, but... Peng Shuai changed the subject here. Yi Chen, do you dare to gamble with me on stones? Chapter 37, Peng Shuai's Confidence, Han Feng. Selecting seed materials. Peng Shuai called out, and the scene instantly became quiet. Su Zhengyuan frowned slightly. Yi Chen was the distinguished guest he had invited with great difficulty. Peng Shuai actually specifically asked to gamble with Yi Chen on stones. Isn't this putting him on the spot? He was about to speak up to stop it, but then he thought, isn't this just a gimmick? As a businessman, profit comes first. Using Peng Shuai as a breakthrough point is just the right opportunity to see Yi Chen's true strength. Thinking of this, he deliberately put on a stern face and said, Boss Peng, Mr. Yi is my guest. Whatever grudge you have, please put it aside for now. All the people around are well-known figures, so which one of them is not a shrewd person? Hearing this, he immediately started muttering. Ha, who was it? I didn't expect it to be Peng Shuai and Yi Chen. A few nights ago at the charity auction, the two of them were secretly competing with each other. As a result, Peng Shuai was bid up 10 million, and 15 million bought a piece of mutton fat white jade. No wonder there seems to be a deep hatred. 10 million is not a small amount. Gossip is that Peng Shuai has feelings for Lin Wanmo, who is by Yi Chen's side. Unfortunately, the flower has feelings, but the water is ruthless. No wonder there's such deep hostility. It must be because he's failed in both business and love. Hearing these discussions, Peng Shua's face turned gloomy. He stared at Yi Chen and snorted coldly. Yi Chen, what do you say? You are not hiding behind a woman and dare not bet with me. Casino. The most taboo word is cowardice. If Yi Chen admitted his mistake in front of Lin Wanmo, he would have no face to stay in this circle anymore. Only Lin Wanmo was secretly anxious. But now the development of the situation is beyond her control. If she stepped forward to stop it, where would Yi Chen's face be? For a moment, she was in a dilemma. Yi Chen remained calm and didn't seem to mind at all. But he actually glanced at Su Zhengyuan and sneered in his heart. That old fellow Su Zhengyuan is no match for Gu Qingshan. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. If that's the case, don't blame me later. Thinking of this, Yi Chen turned around and looked at Peng Shuai, smiling slightly. Okay, I agree. How do you say to bet? Peng Shuai stepped forward and said proudly, Doesn't Su Zhengyuan have a batch of seed jade? You and I will each choose 10 pieces. Whoever comes up with the highest green value wins. Su Zhengyuan interrupted. Well, isn't 10 yuan too much? How about 5 yuan? This seed material is extraordinary, and the price of each one is more than 10 million. No matter what Yi Chen said, he was still Su Zhengyuan's customer, so he had to give him the appraisal. Yi Chen nodded and said, Okay, what about the bet? Tang Kaianian stepped forward and said, Whoever wins automatically gets all of the other party's jade. I've always been fair, so it's okay for me to be the referee, right? In addition to porcelain, Tang Kaianian also had great attainments in jade and jadeite. As soon as he shows up, everyone agrees. Any questions? Peng Shuai chuckled and asked Yi Chen. There is none left, Yi Chen said expressionlessly, as if what he was about to bet was not 50 million, but 50 million happy beans. Okay, let's get started, Han Feng. Peng Shuai rubbed her hands excitedly, her eyes shining. Hey, aren't you Yi Chen awesome? He raised the price before and made me spend 15 million to buy a fake jade. This time, I will let you see Han Feng's ability and make you lose a lot of money. When Tang Kaianian heard Han Feng, his expression changed. Many people couldn't help but gasp. Han Feng, madman, why is he back? Hiss, I was wondering how a rookie like Peng Shuai could dare to bet with someone else. Turns out this giant Buddha has returned. Yes, if it's Peng Shuai with Yi Chen's temperament, he might not lose. But if it's Han Feng, then there's a high probability that he won't lose. 50 million is just wasted. What a shame. Why not regret it? It hasn't even started yet. Amid the discussions, Su Zhengyuan frowned. He whispered to Yi Chen, Han Feng, nicknamed Madman, comes from a family of antique collectors. He has had an extraordinary understanding and sense of treasure appraisal since he was a child. The recognized treasure appraiser Tang Kaianian once suffered a loss at the hands of this kid. He once offered an item for 20,000 yuan, but it turned out to be a Tang Sankai horse, estimated to be worth more than 20 million. Yi Chen, you better be careful. Careful? They are the ones who should be careful. Yi Chen nodded and said lightly, I understand. Su Zhengyuan became a little angry when he saw this. He didn't know whether it was right or wrong for him to ask Yi Chen to appraise the treasure. Han Feng looked at Tang Kaianian, smiled slightly and said, Tang Kaianian, what are you still standing there for? Hurry up and get started. Oh, I forgot to tell you I fell off that pair of Tang Sankai horses that night. You humph. Tang Kaianian snorted coldly, his expression extremely ugly. But fortunately, he is old and has long passed the time for fighting. After taking a deep breath, Tang Kaianian said to Su Zhengyuan, Boss Su, we can start now. Su Zhengyuan nodded and clapped his hands. Su Gang hurried forward and lifted a layer of plastic sheeting on the corridor in front of everyone. And the priceless seed material appeared in front of everyone in an instant. There are about 60 or 70 of them. The big ones are more than 1 meter tall, and the small ones are about the size of a human head. They look of various shapes. Many people came forward to observe his words and expressions. This is incredible. The color of this seed material is pure and it looks like it's of good quality. No wonder it's priced at 10 million. If it doesn't come out green, it's fine. But if it does, it will definitely be priceless. It all depends on your vision and luck. It makes me want to try it, but it's too expensive, 10 million, I can't afford it. Heh, gambling on stones is all about the excitement and the heartbeat. 10 million is nothing to someone worth hundreds of millions or even billions. Han Feng lives up to his name. He has a very sharp vision. I'm afraid Yi Chen is bound to lose this bet. 50 million, and being humiliated by my enemies. If I were him, I would just surrender. You can't say that. His calm demeanor is just as good as the somewhat crazy Han Feng. he might have a chance of winning. At this time, Yi Chen and Han Feng paid a deposit of 50 million. Peng Shuai paid for Han Feng's money. Yi Chen originally wanted to do it himself, but Lin Wanmo got there first. Tang Kaianian coughed, and everyone fell silent and dispersed from the seed material. Han Feng, Yi Chen, you can choose the seed materials. Han Feng did not dare to delay. He pushed his gold-rimmed glasses and walked quickly to the seed material. He looked left and right, and even tapped it a few times with his knuckles. This extremely professional look made everyone, including Tang Kaianian, secretly give them a thumbs up. After about 10 minutes, 5 pieces were carefully selected and placed in front of Peng Shuai. Peng Shuai looked so excited that her face was greasy. Hey, Yi Chen, did you see that? Why haven't you chosen yet? Yi Chen, come on. At this point, Lin Wanmo had nothing to say. Even if she lost the 50 million, she would not blame anyone. But half a day had passed, and Yi Chen hadn't made any movement, which made her speechless. Just these $5. Yi Chen pointed to the 5 pieces of seed material in front of his feet and said nonchalantly. This time, Lin Wanmo was even more speechless. Chapter 38. Han Feng hits 2 greens in a row, Peng Shuai is cocky, and Su Zhengyuan is suspicious. Compared with Han Feng, who was cautious and carefully selected 5 talented rough diamonds. Yi Chen's move really seemed a bit child's play. He just randomly picked out the 5 pieces in front of his feet. They were at the bottom of the pile, crooked and broken, and they didn't look like they were green at all. This time, even Lin Wanmo, the biggest layman, had a changed expression. Yi Chen, can you take another good look? As long as Yi Chen takes it seriously, she won't have any thoughts even if he loses. But people like Yi Chen were so careless, picking things at random and being completely irresponsible, which made her feel annoyed. I've already seen it. Yi Chen shook his head and said seriously. You. Lin Wanmo's face flushed slightly, and she stamped her feet. He turned around and ignored it, just letting Yi Chen go. And see this scene. Peng Shuai couldn't help but sneer. Hey, Yi Chen, you have to think it through. The gambling stone contract has been signed, and you can't go back on your word. Yi Chen looked at the triumphant Peng Shuai. His expression remained unchanged. No regrets. Hearing this, everyone around burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, am I seeing things right? This is the guest invited by Mr. Su, is that it? I don't think he knows anything about gambling on stones. He relies purely on luck. In the gambling industry, 90% depends on strength and 1% depends on luck. Luck will eventually run out, and only strength is real. Yes, in my opinion, most of Han Feng's 5 pieces can produce green, and there is even a chance of producing imperial green. And Yi Chen's pieces, wow. Even if they were lucky enough to get green, they were low-grade green, totally incomparable. Amidst the discussion, Su Zhengyuan also frowned. He never expected that Yi Chen would be so careless. Could it be that this was really a wrong choice? Yi Chen saw that the mutton-fat white jade was fake, and that square lacquer box was just luck. But he is also a shrewd man, so he naturally won't show it at this time. Tang Kaianian, who had remained silent the entire time, said coldly, Yi Chen, are you really not going to take another look? If you can't get the green color later, all your efforts will be in vain. Although he didn't have a good impression of Yi Chen, he had a strong dislike for Han Feng, so naturally he was inclined towards Yi Chen. As he spoke, he winked at Yi Chen and even pointed his right hand at one of the seed materials. From the appearance, this seed material has a more rounded color and a higher probability of turning green. Who knows? Yi Chen shook his head and said firmly, I've decided it's just these 5 pieces. His confident look made Peng Shuai a little surprised and doubtful. HMPH, you're pretending to be profound. I think you're just trying to bluff me. You don't understand jade at all. Han Feng, who was standing beside him, looked at Yi Chen with great interest and even revealed a faint smile. Interesting, interesting. Yi Chen, I hope you won't let me down. Hearing this, Tang Kaianian frowned and coughed again. Now that you two have chosen your seeds, I declare that the competition begins. Next, we'll take turns cutting the seed material. The ones that come out green will be priced according to the market price. If there's not even a hint of green, it will be discarded. Are the rules clear? Are there any problems? Yi Chen and Han Feng shook their heads. Then let's start with Han Feng. Tang Kaianian waved his hand and nodded to the most experienced cutting master in Yipanjai. At this time, the master picked up the first piece of seed material selected by Han Feng with both hands. This piece of seed material is about the size of a bucket, with a round and beautiful luster on the top, and it looks like it has been infiltrated with color. His cloudy eyes suddenly brightened up. With my hands, I have cut at least 8,000 seed materials. Top-grade seed materials like this will definitely produce green jade, but the quality of the jade depends on luck. After saying this, he took a deep breath, put the seed material on the cutting machine, and began to cut it carefully while watering it. Everyone onlookers is looking forward to it. After about 3 or 4 minutes, the master craftsman cut about 3 inches. He picked up the towel, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and changed direction. This time, in just half a minute, his expression became nervous. This time, he operated the cutting machine more slowly, but his watering speed increased. Suddenly, someone was sharp-eyed and couldn't help but exclaim, "It's green, it's green." Really? Everyone looked up. Just see. A flash of green light emerged, and the little lotus began to show its pointed tip. "Ha, madman, you really are quite capable." Peng Shuai was so excited that he almost jumped up, looking at Yi Chen and Lin Wanmo with a smug look on his face. Glutinous ice type, judging by the color, it doesn't look too turbid, but it's a little off from glutinous rice type. What a pity. The old master shook his head and sighed. It took him more than 10 minutes to cut all the icy jadeite into pieces. He took out the glutinous ice type and handed it to Tang Kaianian. The latter examined it carefully and said after a while, "This glutinous ice jade is of good quality and is quite large. It can be made into 2 pairs of bracelets, 6 jade pendants, and a peace locket. The estimated value is around 5 million. Seeing this, Peng Shuai's joy turned into anger. This time I lost 5 million. But then he thought Yi Chen might be in an even worse situation, unable to even get green. Some people say gambling on stones is a waste of money. No amount of money can satisfy your spending. It's true. Yi Chen was stunned for a moment and secretly clicked his tongue. Han Feng didn't care and looked at Yi Chen. "Yi Chen, it's your turn," Tang Kaianian reminded. Yi Chen casually pointed to the top piece. Now the old master was speechless and shook his head secretly. As expected, 10 minutes later, Yi Chen cut open all the seed material, and there was not a single bit of green left. It was definitely waste. Tusk, 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 Yi Chen, you can't pick green with such a blind choice. Unless the sun rises from the west. Peng Shuai felt instantly balanced and sneered at Yi Chen. Tang Kaianian glared at him and snorted coldly. "What are you panicking about? Master, move on to the next piece." "Okay." The old master wiped his sweat again, and when he took the seed material in front of Han Feng, he was very careful, which was completely different from before. This piece of seed material looks a bit better than the previous one. The probability of getting green is naturally greater. He started cutting from the top corner of the head, and then moved downwards. Cool it down with water and remove the stone dust. In a few minutes, he was the first to exclaim, "Another green, this luck is too good. No, this is definitely true strength." He turned around and looked at Han Feng with a look of shock on his face. And this time, what came out was not glutinous ice type, but ice type. Just a small corner exposed gives people the feeling of an ice cube. It has a very clean appearance and a very high-gloss surface, almost transparent. And it has a cottony base that comes out in a misty consistency, which looks gorgeous. Ice seed of such high purity, it must be worth a lot of money. Yeah, I haven't seen this lunatic for a few years. Not only has his level of judging seed materials not declined, it's even more terrifying. It seems that these 5 pieces of seed material are probably the 5 most valuable pieces, and he has pocketed them all. Now the pressure is on Yi Chen. Peng Shuai smiled happily when she heard the discussion. Ice type is very valuable. This piece must be worth at least tens of millions. Could it be that this time we should look for Han Feng instead of Yi Chen? Su Zhengyuan's heart sank. He looked at Yi Chen and couldn't help but become suspicious. Chapter 39. Green again. Shocking Emperor Green, 200 million yuan price. The seed materials selected by Han Feng turned green one after another, which immediately ignited the enthusiasm of everyone present. Wow, are you kidding me? 2 greens in a row, this is too outrageous. First it was glutinous ice type, and now it's glutinous rice type. The estimated value is at least tens of millions. Hiss, Han Feng is still the same Han Feng. Even though he's been away from the Magic City for a few years and has been abroad, his jade appraisal skills haven't deteriorated, they've even improved. That's right, where did this Yi Chen come from? How dare a young boy like him compete with Han Feng? Amidst the discussion, Su Zhengyuan was unhappy. As the owner of Yipanjai, he sold the seed material for tens of millions of yuan. But it was obvious that the 2 pieces of jade Han Feng opened were worth far more than the seed material. As he has always been thrifty, of course he felt that he had suffered a huge loss. Not just him. Lin Wanmo, who was beside Yi Chen, felt her heart sink. She bit her lips tightly, her face turned pale, and her hands unconsciously grasped the hem of her skirt. How could this happen? Green came out one after another. If Yi Chen hadn't come out green yet, it would be terrible. She took a deep breath and looked at Yi Chen, only to find that he looked calm and composed as if nothing had happened. He's so confident, could he also come up with green? At this time, Tang Kaianian, with a gloomy face, stared at the glutinous rice seeds for a long time and said reluctantly, "This is a top-quality glutinous rice seed, with a pure color, high transparency, good texture and feel, and a large size. The estimated value is around 26 million. As soon as the words fell, everyone exclaimed again, "Han Feng, this is amazing. He made 11 million from 2 pieces of seed material. What a good eye." And Peng Shuai hugged Han Feng. He looked at Yi Chen and Lin Wanmo proudly, with a sarcastic look on his face. "Well, did you see that? Ha, if I were you, I'd surrender and cry as soon as possible, ahahaha. Are you done?" Tang Kaianian snorted coldly, somewhat displeased. "It's only the second piece of seed material yet. It's too early to tell who will win." Peng Shuai curled his lips, waved his hands, and said, Okay, you're still stubborn. Keep cutting. I don't believe Yi Chen can cut anything out of it today." At this time, the old master looked at Yi Chen. Yi Chen pointed to the seed material closest to his toes and said, "This is it." The old master sighed and shook his head. "Young man, this seed material looks like waste and has no value." Having said that, he started cutting as usual. In just a few minutes, the seed material, which was the size of several people's heads, was completely cut out. However, let alone green, there is no other color. It is definitely waste. "Ha ha ha, I told you, waste. You're also waste. Waste will produce waste." This time, Peng Shuai laughed even louder. Fortunately, Han Feng glared at him, and Peng Shuai smiled awkwardly before he calmed down. But there was no trace of joy on Lin Wanmo's pretty face. After opening 2 pieces of seed material, Han Feng estimated the value to be 31 million. But Yi Chen didn't give out any money and didn't get a penny. That is to say, for the remaining 3 pieces of jade, Yi Chen must have each piece worth more than 10 million more than Han Feng in order to win. However, is this possible? Lin Wanmo sighed and shook her head secretly. In that case, it's time to cut the 3rd piece, although everyone had no interest in the seed material picked out by Yi Chen. But these pieces made by Han Feng are of high quality. Maybe they will turn out to be something good. The master took out the 3rd piece of seed material. This piece of seed material, it looks to be half the size of a human body, and is the largest of the 5 pieces Han Feng selected. He is most confident about this. Thinking of this, he said to the master, "Master, cut carefully, don't break it." "Okay." The old master nodded. He also noticed the unusualness of this seed material. Generally speaking, the seed material of jade must be round and shiny, with a vague fluorescence. Although, the seed material in front of you has weathered holes on the outer layer. But the fluorescence is surprisingly beautiful, and the halo almost looks like water is dripping out. There were also some people among the crowd who knew the value of the goods, and they all nodded when they saw this. Yes, this piece of seed material, if it really turns green, will definitely be priceless. Tang Kaianian felt extremely uncomfortable when he saw this, but he still pinched his nose and said, "If this seed material turns green, it is very likely to be imperial green." What imperial green? Everyone couldn't help but gasp. Jade is also divided into grades. The lowest grade is the glutinous ice type, but it is also the ice type. The best is, of course, the glass type. And this imperial green is one of them. Priceless. No one dared to breathe. All their eyes were on the master. The master craftsman did not dare to be negligent and placed the seed material carefully. He spat and wiped his palm, then concentrated and started cutting the seed material. His movements were extremely light, and the cutting blade began to cut small pieces at an extremely slow speed. It took a full 15 minutes to cut off a corner, but the teacher said, "Everyone, this is incredible. There is green underneath. It must be glass-grade green." This time, the whole audience was in uproar. Oh my God, such a big jade. If it is really glass type, it would be very valuable. Han Feng is indeed worthy of being an expert in treasure appraisal. His eye for selecting seed materials is even better than that of us old guys who have been immersed in this field for decades. Hiss, this is too incredible. If it comes out green, it will be 3 greens in a row, and there is a high probability that it will be imperial green. Amidst the discussion, the old master drank 2 sips of water, wiped the sweat off his face, and then continued cutting. And this time, he polished it more carefully, almost stopping every moment. After a few seconds, Han Feng stepped forward and said, "It is indeed imperial green." He let out a long breath and looked back at Yi Chen, but he found that Yi Chen still had no expression on his face, as if this was not imperial green. "Humph, I thought you had some skills, but I didn't expect you to be just pretending to be so great. I'm sure to win this time betting on stones." Han Feng thought to himself and turned his gaze to Lin Wanmo. Lin Wanmo was startled by his extremely aggressive look. Just as he was about to open his mouth to scold, Yi Chen blocked Han Feng's sight and shook his head at Lin Wanmo. "Wanmo, don't worry, I know my limits. Have some sense. Now it's not a matter of 10 or 20 million, but it's very likely to be over 100 million. How can Yi Chen catch up?" Lin Wanmo was in hesitation and had to force a smile and nodded. And at this time, the master craftsman has already started watering, revealing a strand of jade from the seed material. This touch of green is so lush and refreshing to the extreme. This green is so moist that it seems like it will drip down from above if you look at it for a few more seconds. Even the knowledgeable Tang Kaianian couldn't help but gasp. Such a large imperial green, such a pure green, such a transparent glass-like texture, and such a warm touch, conservatively estimated to be worth over 200 million. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole audience was in an uproar. Chapter 40. 5 greens in a row, Han Feng, the ceiling of the gambling stone world, Yi Chen's last chance. As soon as Tang Kaianian opened his mouth, everyone couldn't help but get excited. Imperial green, is it really imperial green? Oh my God, a seed material worth tens of millions of yuan actually produced an imperial green. It's incredible. Such a large piece of imperial green is definitely the king of jade, and its value is inestimable. Heh, didn't you see what Mr. Tang said? 200 million is a sure thing. Luckily I'm here today, otherwise I'd have missed this unprecedented gambling event. What a shame. Now it seems that Yi Chen has no chance of winning. Even if he plays 3 greens in a row, can he still get the imperial green? His gambling style relies entirely on luck. How could he possibly win? It's a pity that this imperial green wasn't opened by Su Zhengyuan himself. It's a huge loss. Amidst the discussions, Su Zhengyuan's expression became even uglier than before. It would have been fine if it was just tens of millions, but I didn't expect it to be 200 million. This was far beyond his expectations. Perhaps, after this bet, I can politely tell Yi Chen that the previous proposal is invalid. Lin Wanmo, who was standing next to Yi Chen, had a pale face. Imperial green, 200 million. Yi Chen, what should we do now? She pursed her lips and forced herself to calm down. Imperial green, never mind, you'll find out once you read on. Yi Chen remained extremely calm and was not affected at all by the sudden appearance of imperial green. Sometimes I really don't understand you. Lin Wanmo shook her head and said to Yi Chen, she calls herself an iceberg beauty president, but compared with Yi Chen, she is nothing. Yi Chen smiled slightly and said, gambling on stones is always a gamble. How can we not reveal our cards at the end? Hearing this, Lin Wanmo's eyes lit up, and she seemed to be thinking about something. Only, the gap is too big now. Unless Yi Chen offers a green value of more than 300 million, there is almost no chance of winning. Just as the two were talking, the master craftsman has cut the imperial green completely, with only some tiny impurities wrapped around it, so it just needs to be polished. Seeing this lush imperial green, many people's eyes lit up. Someone immediately made an offer. Han Feng, are you selling this imperial green rough stone? I'm willing to pay 250 million. What, 250 million? Did I hear that correctly? It's much bigger than I expected, and the color is so bright and beautiful. Sure enough, compared to hunting for antiques, gambling on stones is more exciting. Mr. Su is going to lose 200 million this time. His heart is bleeding. Han Feng, the legend of the gambling stone world. This must be the best green stone that Yipanjai has ever produced, right? Amidst the discussions, Han Feng shook his head. I have a friend who loves imperial green the most. Unfortunately, this good thing has always been out of stock. If it comes out next time, I'll sell it to you. The implication is not for sale. When the man heard this, he looked regretful. Okay, it's a deal. If there's any more good glass, I'll definitely buy it. At this time, Tang Kaianian carefully examined the imperial green in front of him. The raw stone that was cut was as big as several people's heads. Because it is glass, it has good brightness and is almost completely transparent. Because of its extremely rare color, brightness, and purity, coupled with its huge size, It can be said to be priceless. I was being too conservative just now. This large piece of imperial green is extremely rare. Even the rough stone alone is worth over 300 million. He held up 3 fingers and said in a deep voice. This time, everyone was in an uproar again. Peng Shuai was overjoyed and looked at Yi Chen and Lin Wanmo provocatively. Yi Chen, did you hear that? 300 million. Heh, for a country bumpkin like you, 30,000 is good. Do you know what 300 million is like? Faced with Peng Shuai's provocation, Yi Chen's face darkened. Do you really think you're going to win? What else? Ha ha ha, Yi Chen, you don't think you can turn the tables, do you? Look at the seed materials you chose, all kinds of crooked melons, cracked dates, and all sorts of messes. It's a complete waste of time. And Peng Shuai looked at the master. He snorted coldly and said, Master, hurry up and cut his open to make him give up. Hadohata. The onlookers were all amused. No way. Han Feng played the imperial green, so Yi Chen won with his head. What's more, when he was selecting jade, he was just messing around. If it really turns green, it would be a miracle. Next, it was finally time for Han Feng to put on a show, and Yi Chen to suffer a setback. Yi Chen's third piece of seed material was still waste and worthless. And not only the third piece, but also the fourth piece of seed material is waste. There was only one piece left, about the size of half a head, and it looked wrinkled, not like it could produce green. On the contrary, Han Feng's fourth and fifth pieces turned out green. What the hell is this? 5 greens in a row. This Han Feng is truly the nemesis of jade. I don't know if your hearts are bleeding, but Su Zhengyuan's heart is definitely bleeding. It's a miracle of gambling on stones. It should have set a record right. Although it's not imperial green, its value is not low. It's all good glutinous rice variety and can be worth tens of millions. Han Feng, lunatic. He's a walking money printing machine. If we take him to various jade gambling houses, wouldn't he make billions in a matter of minutes? Hear this. The faces of several gambling house owners, who were invited, suddenly darkened. They looked at each other and shook their heads firmly, saying, Impossible. Han Feng will never set foot in a gambling house again. Han Feng, Han Feng. I didn't accept it last time, but this time I really do. Tang Kaianian looked at Han Feng with deep fear in his eyes. And hear what everyone says. Lin Wanmo, who originally felt that there was a chance, couldn't help but shook her head. Yi Chen, why don't we give up? There's no need to cut it anymore. Her lips turned pale, and she couldn't bear to see the miserable scene of Yi Chen being defeated and humiliated by Peng Shuai. Give up, impossible. Peng Shuai sneered and shook his head. What a joke. All the preparations made before were to finally see Yi Chen defeated by Han Feng and humiliated. If he gave up halfway, he would not agree to anything. Actually, there's really no need to cut anymore. This piece will definitely be waste. Even the old master said so. He looked at Yi Chen and said earnestly, Young man, in the business of gambling on stones, 2 things are indispensable, experience and talent. But it seems that you have neither of them. Who knows? Yi Chen shook his head and said, No, cut it open and take a look. Really want to cut it? The old master looked displeased. He tried to persuade him earnestly, wanting to save Yi Chen's face. Who knew Yi Chen would not appreciate it? Isn't this a slap in his face? Humph, since you want to cut it, then come on. He casually placed the seed material on the cutting table. Master, use the octahedral cutting method. Seeing this, Yi Chen frowned and warned him. Chapter 41. A fist-sized emerald can actually surpass the imperial green. 1 billion yuan price tag. Hearing Yi Chen's words, he couldn't help but be stunned. Some people around were puzzled and couldn't help asking, what is the octahedral cutting method? The octahedron cutting method is a professional jade cutting method. It requires a very high level of skill from the cutter and can protect the original stone to the greatest extent possible. Tang Kaianian explained to everyone, but when he looked at Yi Chen, he couldn't help but frowned. How could Yi Chen not understand gambling on stones if he knew this extremely rare professional term? Could it be that there is something else behind the 5 pieces of seed material he selected? Not just him. Su Zhengyuan also raised his eyebrows. Originally, Han Feng opened the imperial green, and his ability and vision in appraising treasures were recognized by Su Zhengyuan. And Yi Chen, unless a miracle happens, but is a miracle possible? Su Zhengyuan shook his head and sneered. He has secretly controlled this Pinjai for decades, from high-ranking officials to business tycoons, and even some people have taken advantage of the situation to fish in troubled waters. But after gambling on stones for so long, the only thing that came out was this piece of imperial green. even though someone just raised the price. But conservatively speaking, it's impossible to get it without 400 to 500 million. If you enshrine Han Feng as a big Buddha. Call. Su Zhengyuan took a deep breath, his eyes full of hope. Only Peng Shuai sneered. Mystifying, Yi Chen, can you do it? If not, get out of here as soon as possible and stop embarrassing yourself here. Peng Shuai, what are you so proud of? Let this old master take the lead first. Lin Wanmo looked at his arrogant look and felt angry for no reason, so she snorted coldly. Hey, look at what you can do. All right, I won't say anything more. Master, open it for him quickly. Peng Shuai laughed in anger and turned to the master. Han Feng looked at Yi Chen, and his heart suddenly jumped. He had just played 5 greens in a row and was already sure of victory. But I don't know why, but I have a bad feeling at this moment. Impossible, I know exactly what Yi Chen's strength level is. He's just pretending. Thinking of this, Han Feng raised his eyebrows and glanced at Yi Chen. Who knows? Just at this time, Yi Chen also turned around to look at him. Their eyes met in mid-air, and Han Feng quickly looked away. But he reacted immediately, isn't this cowardice? But when he looked again, Yi Chen had already arrived in front of the master and said, Master, you can start now. The master craftsman completed all the preparations, then took a deep breath and nodded heavily. Okay, young man, don't let me down. The master craftsman solemnly placed the seed material, which was the size of a human head, on the cutting table. The cutting machine used this time is completely different from the previous one. It has more blades and they are in the shape of a ring. It looks very professional and cutting edge. Only, he looked at the seed material and shook his head secretly. The surface is dry, wrinkled, and has almost no luster. This piece of seed material can be sold for 10 million. It is obvious that Su Zhengyuan is a very dishonest businessman. However, as a master with professional ethics, he still suppressed his emotions. After all, to operate such a cutting machine, you must concentrate fully and not be distracted at all. Zizzy. Finally, the cutting machine began to cut under his control. As some stone dust fell, he began to pour water to cool it down to avoid cutting the raw stone. At this moment, everyone held their breath and didn't dare to breathe. Even Peng Shuai, who had just made a harsh statement, now calmed down, rubbed her hands, and seemed a little nervous. But 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes passed, and the seed material, which was the size of several people's heads, was cut into half. But all that was removed were the dregs, and the remaining ones didn't even turn green. At this time, Peng Shuai was so nervous that she couldn't help laughing out loud. Ha ha ha, sorry I couldn't help it. Yi Chen, look for yourself. Most of the head is gone. Only a little bit is left. It would be strange if it could turn green. Not just him. The onlookers also felt like they were being fooled and started to make sarcastic remarks. What's going on? This is obviously a waste material. It would be strange if it could produce green. Yeah, you're using such a sophisticated cutting method. Do you really think you can cut flowers? Flowers, what are you thinking? There's no green at all. Master, hurry up. This gambling game can be declared over. When Lin Wanmo heard these words, her face turned completely pale. She didn't hold any hope and just wanted to take Yi Chen away as soon as possible. But there was still no trace of worry on Yi Chen's face. You won't give up until you reach the Yellow River. The old master sighed and continued cutting. Another 5 minutes passed. Only half of the head was left, the size of 2 fists. This time, Peng Shuai is even more proud. I've already said it. There's no way it's going to be green, Yi Chen. You're completely hopeless. Han Feng, who was standing aside, couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It's the size of 2 fists, and there's no way it's going to turn green. He is sure to win this bet. Yi Chen, I was almost intimidated by you. You didn't even produce a single green, and you made my palms sweat. Thinking of this, Han Feng couldn't help but laugh at himself. However, just at this moment, the old master suddenly exclaimed, What's wrong? Su Zhengyuan frowned and growled at him. No, maybe it's going to be green. The old master's body trembled, and his voice trembled. Before, the surface of this seed material looks like it has been dried and has no luster. Even if you cut off most of it, it still remains the same. But just now, when his hand trembled, a bright light suddenly shone. Although it was only a flash, but he could almost conclude that it would definitely come out green. Moreover, the quality is unprecedented. Green. Su Zhengyuan's eyelids twitched. But then he said, so what if it's green? Peng Shuai was also shocked at first, but then she thought about it. Yes, so what if it's green? This is just a fist-sized jadeite. If it really has green color, it could be an ice type at best, and it would be worth tens of millions at most. Cut quickly. Let's see what comes out of this blind cat catching a dead mouse. If you could produce an emerald, I'd swallow it all. Peng Shuai looked at Yi Chen and Lin Wanmo, smiling from ear to ear. Master, you might as well take a closer look. Yi Chen said calmly, his expression never changing. What a joke with the golden eyes. How could I possibly make mistakes? There are so many seed materials here. But this one, the most inconspicuous and even the one least likely to produce green, is the truly priceless treasure. Really? The old master looked back at him with a hint of admiration. Young man, you are very good. If this is green, it will be priceless, no less than imperial green. This sound, everyone present was shocked. Peng Shui's smile froze on her face, and Han Feng's heart sank. How is that possible? Yeah, it can be green the size of a fist. Even if it's green, can it compare to imperial green? That's estimated to be worth hundreds of millions. All right, stop dawdling and get started. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the master craftsman finally cut off the last piece of skin. The fist-sized green jade, emitting a dim glow, instantly filled the entire room. God has opened his eyes. I've been a cutting artist for decades, and this is the first time I've cut an emerald of this quality. Although it's only the size of a fist, this is definitely top-grade glass. Furthermore, emeralds are extremely rare. With such high quality, the estimated value is at least 1 billion. The old master couldn't control his emotions and cried with joy. Chapter 42 Yi Chen. Peng Shuai, an emerald has appeared, eat it. The master's words were like a bolt from the blue. The entire Yipan station was in an uproar. How is it possible that it actually turned green? Not just any green, but an emerald, the finest emerald. Yes, look at the color, so lush and green. It looks like it's about to drip onto the floor. My God, I've seen many emeralds, but none as bright as this one. It's incredible. But such a tiny emerald isn't worth much, is it? How can it be worth 1 billion? In terms of quality, imperial green is actually a bit higher. However, rarity makes things valuable. Emerald is so rare that even if the quality is slightly inferior, its merits outweigh its flaws, and its value is even higher. The estimated value is 1 billion, but that's still the low estimate. If this rough stone really meets someone who likes it and appreciates its value, the auction price will be even higher. Hiss, no way, is it really a blind cat that caught a dead mouse? Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. 4 consecutive stones didn't produce green, and the next one turned out to be emerald, which is more expensive than imperial green. Before, I thought this kid was just pretending to be profound, pretending to be mature, but now I know I was wrong. His jade discernment is definitely not bad. I don't believe in luck. Amidst the discussions, the old master examined the emerald carefully with trembling hands. He looked so excited, as if he had just met a virgin and couldn't let her go. Beside Yi Chen, Lin Wanmo was completely stunned. She didn't expect that the last piece of seed material, which was the size of a human head, would actually turn out green, and it was an extremely rare emerald. Her mother wore an emerald ring that cost as much as 30 million. You can imagine. The value of this fist-sized emerald rough stone is almost unimaginable. Yi Chen, am I dreaming? Did I really get $1 billion emerald? She looked at Yi Chen, and there was still disbelief in her beautiful eyes. Yes, it's real. It's definitely an emerald of the best quality. Yi Chen nodded and smiled slightly. Seeing this, Su Zhengyuan couldn't help but take a breath. To be honest, he foresaw all possible scenarios, including the possibility that the last piece of seed material might turn out green. However, I didn't expect that an emerald would appear. An imperial green is rarely seen in a century. With the addition of emeralds, this gambling on stones will definitely become an enduring legend. Only, his heart is bleeding. First it was imperial green, then emerald. He lost more than 10 billion in total. I thought Yi Chen had no chance of winning, but unexpectedly, he showed his heroic qualities at the critical moment. It's not simple, it's really not simple. When he said this, his eyes flashed. Fortunately, I didn't contact Han Feng in advance. Otherwise, what would Yi Chen think? Yi Chen is mysterious and unpredictable. I heard he's in contact with Gu Qingshan. Even Scar Baldy couldn't get anything out of him. Perhaps he's my most important investment in the near future. His eyes were fixed on Yi Chen, thinking that he would have to have a detailed discussion with him after the gambling on stones was over. Only by keeping Yi Chen firmly in his hands can his business snowball and grow bigger and bigger. And today is the best time. His Pinjai will definitely become famous because of gambling on stones, and will firmly establish itself as the top seller in Yaju Antique Street. Just as he was thinking, Han Feng's face looked extremely ugly. He also didn't expect that Yi Chen would turn the tables at the last critical moment, which was far beyond his expectations. Damn it, how did this guy do it? Could it be that he has always known the value of each piece of seed material, so he is not panicked at all? But how is this possible? Even I, who have been abroad for several years and have been dealing with all kinds of seed materials and gambling stones, cannot accurately predict whether there will be green in them. Yi Chen, you are really interesting, but today you are going to lose. Han Feng took a deep breath and calmed himself down. In addition to being in awe of Yi Chen, there was also a bit of excitement on his face. But Peng Shuai next to him did not look so good. No, that's impossible. Master, are you mistaken? It's obviously impossible for this to be green. Also, how can this palm-sized thing be worth 1 billion? Hearing this, before the old master could speak, Tang Kaianian sneered. What do you know? The old master has been working for decades and is a leading figure among cutters. How could he not know? Having said that, he paused. His eyes fell on the emerald and his face was full of surprise. Let me judge for myself. This emerald is rare, and its color, brightness, saturation, and texture are all top-notch, 1 in a million. Even if it's only the size of a fist, it doesn't affect its value at all. In fact, in some ways, it doubles its value. Heh, if it's really a carving skill, you can take out a pair of bracelets, 4 or 5 jade pendants, and 2 necklaces. As for the value, I won't say much, but the estimated value is. He stretched out his hands and spread them in front of Peng Shuai. Peng Shuai was reluctant and gritted her teeth. Is it really worth 1 billion? Tang Kaianian shook his head. He turned his hands over again and said, 2 billion. What? This time Peng Shuai staggered and almost fell. 2 billion, what does that mean? There are many top wealthy people here, but not many have private assets exceeding 2 billion. A mere piece of jade is actually worth 2 billion. How could Peng Shuai not be shocked? Before, Han Feng drew 5 greens in a row, including the imperial green, and he thought he was sure to win. Who knows? This sudden appearance of emerald instantly turned the tide for him and Han Feng, causing them to lose completely. If Mr. Tang speaks, we naturally trust him, but the price of this raw stone is only 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion. You're just giving money to a beggar. Why don't you ask him if he'll sell it for 1.2 billion? In my opinion, even if the product can only be sold for 2 billion, it won't sell for less than 2 billion. Although it's an emerald, it is also a symbol of status and wealth. This kind of thing cannot be bought with money. You have to find an opportunity. That's right, that's right. If someone buys Han Feng's imperial green, it will be very prestigious. Only by buying this emerald can I surpass him. Not to mention spending twice the price, I'm willing to pay 10 times. Brother Yi, I wonder if you can sell this jade. 2 billion, no, 2.5 billion, I want it. Immediately, a well-dressed middle-aged man wearing gold-rimmed glasses came forward and asked Yi Chen. Yi Chen shook his head and said, not for sale. Although the man was a little disappointed, he nodded and said, Mr. Yi, if you have any ideas, please call me anytime, or if you want to do OEM, that's fine. He took out a business card and handed it to Yi Chen. Yi Chen's men turned their heads to look at Peng Shuai, who looked as pale as death. By the way, Peng Shuai, you just said that if an emerald were to be unearthed, you would swallow it all in one gulp. Chapter 43. Face is gone, hundreds of millions are gone, Peng Shuai bursts into tears. As soon as Yi Chen said this, it was visible to the naked eye that the huge Yipanjai suddenly became quiet. Everyone, he stared at Peng Shuai eagerly, as if he was watching a show. Peng Shuai, what do you say? You won't deny it in front of so many people, right? Yi Chen took a step forward, stared at Peng Shuai, his face darkening. Peng Shuai has been aggressive from the beginning until now, which is simply too much. And he and Wang Kao are secretly colluding with each other. So maybe he is the one targeting AI Shang medical beauty behind the scenes. Yes, Peng Shuai, if this gets out, and the second son of the Peng group doesn't keep his word, what will everyone think of you? Lin Wanmo narrowed her eyes, stared at him and shouted coldly. She has never had a good impression of Peng Shuai. The smug look he showed just now made Lin Wanmo feel extremely disgusted. Haha, I didn't expect that this once-in-a-century spectacle of gambling on stones would have such an interesting performance to watch. I'm truly lucky. Tang Kaianian stroked the white beard on his chin and chuckled. He was full of hatred towards Han Feng, and he also couldn't stand Peng Shuai's arrogance just now. Now that the situation has reversed, If he doesn't take action against them, he wouldn't be called Tang Kaianian anymore. Once someone starts something, there will naturally be others who will continue to add fuel to the fire. Among them are many wealthy businessmen who want to get emeralds from Yi Chen. As their family is wealthy and powerful, they naturally wouldn't take the second son of the Peng group seriously. Peng Shui, this is your fault. Just gamble on stones properly. Why provoke others? What a good young man Yi Chen is. He is introverted and calm, neither arrogant nor impatient. His vision and luck are even more amazing. He doesn't cause trouble, but he is not afraid of trouble either. You just said it yourself. If you don't admit it, your reputation will be ruined. Listen, if you eat an emerald the size of your fist, you'll be a billionaire. Ha grabbed the bamboo shoots, but I like it. Amid the discussion, Peng Shui's face turned red. He stared at Yi Chen, burning with anger, unable to hold back and about to explode. But although he is a playboy, he is not stupid. If they were to fall out in public, it would not only be Peng Shui's face that would be lost, but also the Peng group. Not to mention Su Zhengyuan, the owner of Yipanzhai. What does he think of him? Do you really want to eat this emerald raw? If this really happens, how will Peng Shui still have the face to stay in the circle in the future? For a while, he fell into confusion and chaos. Oh right, Han Feng. Peng Shui looked at Han Feng beside her with a pleading look on her face. In the current situation, only Han Feng can save him. Who knows? Han Feng actually shook his head. He didn't even look at Peng Shui, but at Yi Chen. When we first mentioned gambling on stones, this guy had a plan in mind. He randomly selected the seed material and deliberately showed weakness. Then there were consecutive green shots, which boosted my and Peng Shui's confidence to the extreme. At the critical moment, he suddenly revealed his trump card and completely turned the tables. He looked at Yi Chen, and besides being excited and admiring, he also felt a hint of inexplicable fear. You madmans! Peng Shui was completely dumbfounded. He didn't expect it. His best friend Han Feng actually abandoned him at this critical moment. Fortunately, just when he was most desperate, Su Zhengyuan stood beside him and coughed lightly, attracting everyone's attention. Haha, we are all honored guests of Yipanzhai. Why should we publicly humiliate each other just for a small quarrel? Let's be merciful when we can, Yi Chen. What do you think? Su Zhengyuan looked at Yi Chen with a smile and winked at him. Yi Chen frowned. He had never had a good impression of Su Zhengyuan, but he didn't expect that he would speak for Peng Shui. What were you doing this morning? When Peng Shui mocked him, Su Zhengyuan sat there like an old monk, indifferent. Now it actually jumped out. It's so ridiculous. Oh right, it must be because of the white jade thing. The mutton-fat white jade is fake, and Peng Shui will definitely ask Su Zhengyuan for an explanation. But how could Su Zhengyuan be willing to give in? He wanted to take a step back based on the deal he had just reached with me. For Peng Shui, 15 million is not expensive for this favor. He was too embarrassed to continue causing trouble for Su Zhengyuan. After thinking about these key points clearly, Yi Chen laughed out of anger. Since Mr. Su has spoken, then I don't care. After hearing this, those who were planning to watch the show sighed, looking disappointed. Brother Yi is indeed a young and promising man with a broad mind. It's rare, really rare. No wonder you can pick out emeralds from so many seed materials. It's amazing, Su Zhengyuan said with admiration. Peng Shui looked at Su Zhengyuan with a grateful look on her face. Thank you, Mr. Su. Lin Wanmo frowned slightly, but being a talented girl, she also figured out the key. Yi Chen's mature performance surprised her greatly. It seems that Yi Chen is not completely useless. At least his mental strength and concentration are far beyond that of ordinary young people. Where is the uselessness? Yi Chen not only has extraordinary martial arts skills, but also has miraculous medical skills. Not only that medical beauty formula, but also that unrivaled eye for treasure appraisal. I don't know why, but the more I get to know him, the more mysterious he becomes. Is it just my imagination? Unconsciously, Lin Wanmo looked at Yi Chen with a look of doubt and confusion. At this time, Tang Kaianian said loudly, I will now announce the result of this bet. Although Han Feng got 5 greens in a row, and even the Imperial Green, it was estimated to be around 300 million. But I encountered an emerald that only comes once in a century, but I lost miserably. Yi Chen has an emerald, estimated to be worth over 2 billion. Yi Chen wins. Speaking of this, he stared at Han Feng and snorted coldly. Han Feng, since you lost, then the green you opened will all belong to Yi Chen. Han Feng was stunned for a moment and burst out laughing. Good. He didn't feel anything about jade, money, or anything like that. The only thing that made him feel uncomfortable was that he was tricked by Yi Chen again. After all, he played 5 greens in a row, and if he lost, all of them would be Yi Chen's spoils. He hadn't figured it out just now, but now he understands everything. On the other hand, Peng Shuai had just recovered from her fear and almost fainted when she heard this. The seed material is only worth 50 million. But all of these are green, and the estimated value is several hundred million. So that's the calculation. This is a gamble of nearly 500 million. He lost the bet, and the 500 million belonged to Yi Chen. Even though Peng Shuai has experienced countless storms and waves, she still feels heartbroken at this moment. Seeing that he didn't move, Yi Chen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows and said, "Why, you don't want to give it to me? In that case, you should just swallow my emerald." Hearing this, Peng Shuai was shocked. "No, no, no, I'll give it to you, I'll give it to you." Peng Shuai turned to look at Han Feng, and with tears in her eyes, she pushed all the green towards Yi Chen. This time, it was a complete failure. Not only did he lose face, he also lost hundreds of millions, and he looked like he was about to burst into tears. Chapter 44. Becoming rich overnight, earning more than 2 billion. Among the 5 green stones of different sizes and varieties, the imperial green is naturally the most eye-catching. But compared with the emerald in Yi Chen's hand, it pales in comparison. Seeing this, many people began to breathe faster. "Yi Chen, since you have this emerald, why don't you sell the imperial green to me? I'm willing to pay 300 million. Only 300 million. You're just giving away beggars. I'm willing to pay 350 million. If you sell it to me, I'm willing to pay 500 million. All right, stop arguing. Yi Chen, if you're willing to sell, including the imperial green, I'm willing to pay 600 million for the 5 pieces. Amidst the shouting, Peng Shuai and Han Feng looked at each other and couldn't help but pinch their noses. They felt so uncomfortable. Lin Wanmo was stunned. She didn't expect that gambling on stones could really make her rich overnight. With a capital of 50 million, he made 500 million in less than 2 hours. This rate of return is shocking. When I think about how it took her 3 years to make AI Shang Medical Beauty a little famous, and the investment was over 1 billion, the profit was only tens of millions. Compared with Yi Chen, he is nothing. What are you still standing there for? Put this jade away. Yi Chen winked at Lin Wanmo, and the latter finally woke up from her dream. I put it away, but... No buts, this is your money, so the spoils should be yours. You decide how to deal with it, Yi Chen said to Lin Wanmo with a sincere look on his face. Lin Wanmo's pretty face turned slightly red, and she quickly placed the jade stones in front of her. But she was muttering in her heart, "Is Yi Chen mistaken? This is not 550 or 500 yuan, but more than 500 million. I, Lin Wanmo, am not short of money, but he is just an ordinary employee. He is short of money. But he actually gave it all to me, and the reason was so lame. Why did he do that?" Just then, Su Zhengyuan clapped his hands. "The gambling on stones is over. Brother Yi is the winner, but don't rush to leave. I've had some special cakes and snacks prepared. After everyone enjoys them, there will be a good show to watch." When he said this, everyone's emotions were aroused again. Some people even walked up to Su Zhengyuan and started asking questions. "Boss Su, what's going on? Give me some clues." Gambling on stones is exciting enough. What could be more exciting? Are you kidding us? That's a bit unkind. Why bother with so much? The service at Yippenjai is much better than other antique shops. The specialty cakes are all tributes from the past. You can't buy them anywhere else. Amidst the discussions, Su Zhengyuan smiled slightly. "I'll keep you in suspense for a bit. The answer will be revealed later. Let's enjoy the food first." Only... Yi Chen suddenly stepped forward. "By the way, Mr. Su, there's something I want to tell you, but I don't know if I should mention it or not." He narrowed his eyes, his expression calm as water. "Oh, Brother Yi, feel free to tell me." Su Zhengyuan waved his hands and pretended to be calm. I don't know why. When he met Yi Chen's sharp eyes, his heart skipped a beat. It was like a bad premonition, making him feel uneasy. Earlier, Mr. Su said that I could choose any item I wanted. Was that a joke? Yi Chen stared at Su Zhengyuan and said seriously. When everyone heard this, they all frowned. Many people saw the meaning behind the words and had strange smiles on their faces. Su Zhengyuan had a big headache. He didn't expect that Yi Chen would actually raise this difficult question in front of everyone. Originally, Yi Chen was a distinguished guest he invited, and he also made a promise that he would let him choose a collection. But Yi Chen's performance in gambling on stones just now made him very dissatisfied, and he even planned to bet on Han Feng. Who would have thought that Yi Chen would turn the tide in desperation and actually produce an emerald that is rarely seen in a century? This time, Su Zhengyuan had to restrain the thoughts that were surging in his mind and put his focus on Yi Chen. Even though the other party made more than 2 billion with 50 million, he did not show any dissatisfaction. But what does it mean that Yi Chen deliberately brought up this topic now? Of course it counts. Su Zhengyuan's brows relaxed and he smiled brightly. But Su, I'd like to ask, has Brother Yi decided what collection to choose? Could it be that the seed material here is not good enough? Are there other treasures in there besides Imperial Green and Emerald? When he thought that it might surpass Imperial Green and Emerald, Su Zhengyuan suddenly became nervous. Not just him. When the others came to their senses, their expressions also changed. Boss Su, let's postpone this snack. We are more interested in seed materials now. What are you eating? I'm not hungry. Let Yippenjai treat you later. That's right. We had so much fun gambling on stones just now. We're planning to buy a few pieces for fun too. Mr. Su, don't you mind? Well, maybe Mr. Su is afraid that we might also produce Imperial Green and Emerald. Everyone was talking at once, and Su Zhengyuan was almost thrown into disarray. Seeing this, Su Zhengyuan had no choice but to say bitterly, "Since you all want to play, then go ahead and choose. I hope you all get green. Since I opened this Yipingshuan and opened a gambling stone shop, I'm not afraid of you getting rare treasures." As soon as he finished speaking, he nodded at Yi Chen. "Brother Yi, the promise just now certainly counts, and you can choose now." "Humph, Yi Chen, Yi Chen, you even dare to plot against me, Su Zhengyuan. You embarrassed me in front of everyone, so don't blame me. With so many people, there are bound to be one or two with arrogant personalities. They will choose whatever you choose later." Yi Chen was surprised when he saw this. He didn't expect that what he said would actually bring business to Su Zhengyuan. Only, Su Zhengyuan is trying to divert the blame and make me compete with others. Aren't you underestimating him too much? Okay, then I want this one. He pointed to a piece of seed material in front of his feet and said to Su Zhengyuan. However, before Su Zhengyuan could speak, someone took the seed material away at lightning speed. "Sorry, I had my eye on this piece too, you're too late." The man laughed heartily, his eyes sparkling with money. "Master Cutter, come on, cut it open and see what green it is." However, a few minutes later, that piece of seed material didn't even produce any green. It was a piece of waste. Could it be that Yi Chen made a mistake? Impossible. Someone exclaimed and frowned. At this time, Yi Chen slapped his forehead and said, "Sorry, I saw it wrong, it's this one." He pointed to the seed material that was half a person's height at the farthest point. No surprise. Someone else took the lead and snatched away the seed material he had his eyes on. Peng Shuai held the seed material that was half a person's height, and a hint of color finally appeared on her face. "Yi Chen, thank you so much. I still have to rely on you to make back my investment." Yi Chen still looked as usual. Could it be that Yi Chen did this on purpose? Han Feng's heart skipped a beat, and he had a terrible premonition. Peng Shuai rubbed her hands, as if she didn't know what was going on, and just winked at the cutting master. Little did they know. After more than 10 minutes, when it was cut open, it turned out to be waste. The sinister Yi Chen. Lin Wanmo stuck out her tongue and suddenly realized. "Yi Chen, are you kidding me?" Peng Shuai turned his head to look at Yi Chen and said viciously, his face extremely gloomy. Chapter 45, Lin Wanmo's plan. Su Zhengyuan feels uncomfortable. 50 million for 5 pieces of seed material. Han Feng produced 5 greens in a row, with an estimated value of around 500–600 million. Yi Chen was even more ruthless, even if the first 4 were waste. But the last fist-sized emerald was estimated to be worth a sky-high amount, exceeding 2 billion. The gambling game is over, and Yi Chen is the biggest winner. The condition he proposed to Su Zhengyuan was to get another piece of seed material. This time, the breathing of everyone in Yippenfang became rapid, staring at Yi Chen and taking action in advance. Who knows? Twice in a row, they thought they could get something comparable to Imperial Green and Emerald, but it was all waste. Among them was Peng Shuai, who had just suffered heavy losses. Although he was a playboy, he was not stupid. He immediately realized that he had been tricked by Yi Chen and could not help but glare at him. "Yi Chen, are you kidding me?" His face flushed crimson, and a murderous look flashed across his face. "Did I put a knife to your neck and ask you to buy it?" Yi Chen looked calm and composed as usual, but his sinister look made Lin Wanmo's mouth twitch. "Ha, Yi Chen looks kind and gentle, but I didn't expect that when he cheats people. It's like cutting flesh with a blunt knife. It hurts." Not only did Peng Shuai lose 50 million in capital, but now she has lost another 10 million. If you add the fake mutton fat white jade that you bought before, Yi Chen lost 75 million. No matter how big the Peng group was, it was enough to make him feel painful. Yi Chen, you. Hearing Yi Chen's rebuttal, Peng Shuai was so angry that he almost went berserk. Fortunately, Han Feng was more rational and stopped him. Peng Shuai, no. Han Feng shook his head and signaled with his eyes, and Peng Shuai stopped. The onlookers were already in an uproar. Ha, I guess there might be a monster, so I didn't do anything. Sure enough. Fortunately, these two suckers gave money to Su Zhengyuan. He's a calm little fox, a man who dares to speak in public. How could he be easily taken advantage of? From now on, I'm afraid no one will dare to make a move. If they get fooled again, not only will they lose money, but they'll also lose face. Everyone says Han Feng is a legend, but in my opinion, this guy named Yi Chen is the real terrifying existence hiding in the city. Amidst the discussion, Yi Chen looked at a piece of seed material in front of him that was the size of a human head. Everyone's attention was immediately focused on this piece of seed material. This seed material has average luster and unremarkable color, but Yi Chen thinks it must have its unique features. Yi Chen, you don't want to make them lose face again, do you? At this time, Su Zhengyuan spoke with a smile on his face, although he was worried that Yi Chen would take away the most valuable seed material. He was even more worried that the customers here would suffer losses because of him. No, this one. Yi Chen took a step forward, picked up the dozens of kilograms of seed material with one hand, and handed it to the master. The old master's hands were shaking, and he asked in a hoarse voice, "Brother Yi, there won't be another emerald in here, right?" He had been a cutting master for decades, but this was the first time he had seen an emerald of such quality. Yi Chen blinked and smiled slightly. "That's hard to say, but you have to remove this big piece for me and don't touch the rest." He pointed at the seed material and instructed the cutting master. "Is that so? Okay." The cutting master was naturally a little disappointed, but he still followed Yi Chen's instructions and cut off most of the seed material, leaving only a palm-sized piece. At this moment, many people were scratching their heads in anxiety. "Yi Chen, what are you doing? Cut it open so we can see the world." "That's right. Are you going to take it away?" "Without a professional cutting machine, it's difficult to cut such hard seed material." "Are you sure?" "If the good green is damaged, it will be a huge loss." Even Su Zhengyuan and Han Feng couldn't help but frown and look ugly. Tang Kaianian coughed and said, "This is Yi Chen's freedom. Let's not pursue it. The right thing to do is to find a way to buy some green from Mr. Lin." Lin Wanmo's pretty face turned slightly red. Just now, Yi Chen gave her all the green, even the priceless emerald. Yi Chen is just an ordinary employee. Why doesn't he want so much money? Could it be that he has a deeper secret? Thinking of this, Lin Wanmo became even more curious about Yi Chen. She also has plans for these jades. AI Shang Medical Beauty had various problems before, and it is very likely that Peng Shua was behind it. Although with Yi Chen's help, the culprit Wang Kea was found and the upgraded formula of the Yan series was obtained. Moreover, because of him, a new cooperation was reached with Meng Zixuan, and AI Shang Medical Beauty was back on track. But problems in the industrial chain still need to be optimized. After all, there are several companies that have close relationships with the Peng Group. Now, these priceless jades can be taken out so that she can find a more reliable supplier. I will hold an exhibition for these jades. If you are interested, you can come and participate. Oh, including this emerald. Lin Wanmo took a deep breath and spoke to everyone. This time, everyone's enthusiasm was ignited. They all asked for Lin Wanmo's business card and promised to be there when the time came. Only Peng Shuai felt worse than eating a fly. Damn it! If Lin Wanmo really relies on these jades to establish connections in the business world, we'll be in trouble. Thinking of this terrible consequence, Peng Shuai felt very uneasy. He quickly looked at Han Feng and asked him, "Crazy, is there any way to stop her from succeeding?" "Yes, of course." Han Feng's words turned Peng Shuai's worries into joy. "What method?" "I haven't thought about it yet. I'll tell you when I figure it out." Han Feng yawned, glanced at Yi Chen, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. Lin Wanmo is nothing. So what if she could open up business channels? In this era where capital is king, it only takes a little effort to destroy Lin Wanmo's hard work. But it would be troublesome if Yi Chen was around. People whose depth cannot be judged are more frightening. Yi Chen put away the palm-sized seed material and said to Su Zhengyuan, "Mr. Su, thank you very much." Su Zhengyuan lowered his voice and asked, "Brother Yi, can you tell me the truth? Is there anything good in here? It's a good thing, but it's not suitable for you. Yi Chen narrowed his eyes and replied to Su Zhengyuan, still not giving the answer he wanted most. Su Zhengyuan laughed and said, "Excuse me, brother Yi. If you can even dig out an emerald, the ones inside must be even more valuable." I don't know why. Su Zhengyuan felt a little uncomfortable. He thought that Yi Chen would be grateful for his invitation. Unexpectedly, as the situation developed, Yi Chen seemed to have some opinions and resentments towards him. This is not. Yi Chen didn't say anything at all. Seeing this, Su Zhengyuan had no choice but to take everyone to the antique collection place. Lin Wanmo was one step behind. She couldn't help but be curious and asked Yi Chen, what's in it? I'll tell you in 2 days. Yi Chen smiled mysteriously, unfathomable. Chapter 46. The magical jade as spirit. Yi Chen puts the finishing touch. Hu Xiaoyao's troubles. I have to say, Su Zhengyuan possesses all the qualities of a successful businessman. He is good at observing people's words and expressions, and is always smiling, which makes people feel close and good. But he is extremely shrewd, able to judge the situation and keep all parties firmly under his control. What a pity. He met Yi Chen, who doesn't buy his tricks at all. Because of the previous grudge, Yi Chen did not indulge him. He just took a quick look, and after verifying the authenticity of the items, he pulled Lin Wanmo away. As for the precious jadeite stones that were mined, Lin Wanmo had someone put them in a bank safe. Once the exhibition plan is formulated, they can be brought back to life and shine. By the time we finished all this, it was already afternoon. Even though Lin Wanmo was in high spirits, she still felt a little tired. She originally planned to invite Yi Chen to have dinner together. But Yi Chen's heart was on the seed material in his pocket, so he took a taxi and went home. You really don't want me to send you off? It's not far anyway, I can just take a taxi. I'm tired after a day, I'll go home and have a good rest. Hearing this, for some reason, Lin Wanmo felt warm in her heart, and her eyes felt a little sore. She took a deep breath and smiled at Yi Chen. Okay, then I'll go back first, be careful. After getting in the car, she took a look at her belly. Under the elegant and decent dress, her belly bulged slightly. Although it is not very obvious, there is still a difference if you look carefully. And she seemed to be able to feel the fluctuations of new life. Maybe Yi Chen is not that bad, right? Millennium Road in the apartment. Yi Chen took out the palm-sized seed material and took a deep breath. Green can naturally appear here. But it is not the priceless emerald, nor even the slightly inferior imperial green or other ice glass types. But what's inside is not ordinary jade. Without a professional cutting machine, Yi Chen was not panicked. He found a chisel and carefully chiseled along the edges and corners. It took more than an hour for Yi Chen to remove all the impurities from the edges and corners, revealing the jadeite raw stone inside. This piece of raw stone is only half the size of a palm, slightly flat, and has an irregular hexagonal shape. It is completely different from the previous lack of gloss. It is crystal clear, like extremely pure glass. But in the original stone, there are some star spots which are extremely magical. Rare jade used to make magical instruments. Yi Chen took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. The previous square lacquer box, engraved with special talismans, became a magic tool that can be used to protect the house, pray for blessings, and make money. Although Yi Chen didn't know what it was made of, the raw stone in front of him was definitely of a higher quality than the square lacquer box. Before, in addition to the method of dispelling evil and eliminating disasters, I also obtained a method of protection, which can be used on this rare jade. He squinted his eyes, and under the bright light, he could see a faint glow shining on the strange jade. The most crucial thing is engraving the talisman array and the finishing touch. And this level, it took Yi Chen 2 hours. Finally done. Yi Chen stretched and slowly exhaled. Even though his physique and energy far exceeded those of ordinary people, he couldn't help feeling a little tired. After a short rest, he turned his attention to the rare jade in front of him. At this moment, the rare jade that was half the size of a palm had turned into 2 jade pendants and some scattered small beads. The previous brilliance and splendor also disappeared, turning into an ordinary jade. This is also what Yi Chen wants. If it is too conspicuous and high, it will lose its fundamental function of shelter. You can give one of these jade pendants to Wanmo to protect them. There's one left, I'll keep it for now. As for these little beads, I can make a bracelet. But his craftsmanship is not very good, and the jade pendant and beads have some uneven edges and corners, which need to be finely polished. I'm just about to go out for dinner, so I'm looking for someone to ask if there's a chef here. Thinking of this, Yi Chen put away these rare jades. Only, when he finished taking a shower, changed his clothes and went out. I heard a quarrel coming from Hu Xiaoyao's room next door. Hu Xiaoyao, that's great. You can afford such an expensive apartment and you still say you don't have money. I'll say it again, I didn't pay for this apartment, and I really don't have any money to give you. Humph, I don't believe that. Since someone else gave it to you, where did your money go? Don't tell me you don't have it, give it to me. No, that's it. This is my home, please get out. Ha ha ha, stop pretending to be nice to me. If you don't give me 50,000, I'm not going to leave. Chen Tianzai, why are you so shameless? Okay, you won't leave, right? I'm calling the police. Calling the police, huh? Okay, you're being ruthless, but you have to know that even if they're really locked up, they'll be released in a few days. By then, he. Hearing this, Yi Chen frowned and couldn't bear it anymore. He walked up and knocked on the door. Who is it? Chen Tianzai looked impatient as he stared at Hu Xiaoyao, whose face was flushing red and pointed at her nose. Hu Xiaoyao, are you being kept by an old man? Only big money investors can afford such an expensive apartment. What are you talking about? Hu Xiaoyao's chest heaved with anger. Today is the weekend. I knocked on the door at noon, but Yi Chen was not there. After lunch, she watched TV series alone. Unexpectedly at this time, Chen Tianzai suddenly came and asked her for money. The two had broken up long ago, and Chen Tianzai had taken a lot of money from her in bits and pieces before. Almost 70,000 or 80,000 yuan. This is a bottomless pit. She had long lost her feelings for Chen Tianzai, so of course she was unwilling to give it to him. This is not. Chen Tianzai is actually acting like a rogue. Seeing Yi Chen, Chen Tianzai frowned. Who was I at that time? I didn't expect him to be a gigolo. No way, Hu Xiaoyao. Are you doing something behind my back? Chen Tianzai's face was gloomy and he sneered. Judging from his appearance, he is not as good as Yi Chen. And in terms of height, he is almost a head shorter. Speaking of temperament, there's no comparison. At this moment, Chen Tianzai is like a frustrated gambler who has lost all his money. Burning with jealousy, he became furious and picked up a chair and threw it at Yi Chen. I told you to steal, I told you to steal, I told you. However, before he could finish his words, Yi Chen slapped him. The chair in front of Chen Tianzai shattered instantly, and on his face were 5 blood-red fingerprints. Chapter 47, dealing with the scumbag Chen Tianzai and meeting Meng Zixuan again. Millennium Road in the apartment. Chen Tianzai looked at Yi Chen, who suddenly appeared, and the fire of jealousy burned fiercely. In addition, Hu Xiaoyao refused to give him any more money. In anger and humiliation, he picked up a chair nearby and threw it at Yi Chen. If this hits a vital point, the person will be seriously injured if not killed. Seeing this, Hu Xiaoyao quickly exclaimed, Yi Chen, be careful. Be careful, it's too late to be careful. This pretty boy must be having an affair with you. Now that we've run into each other, don't blame me. Chen Tianzai smiled sinisterly, as if he saw Yi Chen trembling after being hit. However, his smile froze on his face instantly. In the blink of an eye, Yi Chen just raised his hand and slapped the chair that was thrown at him away. Crack! Amidst the flying debris, Chen Tianzai was also stunned. The 5 bright red fingerprints on his face were burning and particularly glaring. You're looking for death. It took Chen Tianzai a long time to come back to his senses. Looking at the mess on the ground, he not only did not retreat, but even aroused unprecedented ferocity. And aside, Hu Xiaoyao was already dumbfounded. She hadn't expected that things would develop to this point, out of control. She mustered up her courage and stood in front of Chen Tianzai. Chen Tianzai, I said I won't give you another penny if you keep pestering me like this. What else can I do? Hu Xiaoyao, did you see the wound on my face? Humph, if you want to call the police, go ahead. I can just do a disability assessment. Chen Tianzai, you are so shameless. I was really blind at the time. Hu Xiaoyao was so angry that she stomped her feet. Looking at the rogue Chen Tianzai, she was helpless. However, Yi Chen narrowed his eyes and said to Hu Xiaoyao, Xiaoyao, get out of the way. Hu Xiaoyao was stunned for a moment and unconsciously moved aside. Chen Tianzai was a little panicked at this time. He couldn't help swallowing his saliva and said, what do you want to do? I'm telling you, if you try to do anything again, I'll make you lose everything. Looking at the timid Chen Tianzai, Yi Chen laughed in anger. Ha, losing everything, do you deserve it? Chen Tianzai, Hu Xiaoyao mentioned this to me before. You two were still in a relationship at the time, so I can let it go. Now that we've broken up, you're still treating Hu Xiaoyao like an ATM. Have you lost your conscience? Get out of here now or else. A murderous intent flashed across Yi Chen's eyes. From childhood to adulthood, he has seen many scumbags, but this is the first time he has seen someone as scumbag as Chen Tianzai. This is also because Hu Xiaoyao has a kind and gentle personality. Being targeted by such a scumbag, she doesn't know what to do. Humph, this isn't your home. I can leave if I want to, and if I don't want to leave, what's it to you? If you want me to leave, it's not impossible. Just transfer 50,000 to me, no, transfer 100,000 and I'll leave immediately. Chen Tianzai made up his mind that he would not leave without taking the money. Okay, then I'll just have to do it myself. Yi Chen stared at him and smiled slightly, a harmless smile. But I don't know why. Chen Tianzai actually felt a deep chill, and his heart trembled for no reason. Damn it, this guy called Yi Chen. Is he going to beat me to death? Seeing Yi Chen walking towards him, Chen Tianzai quickly took 2 steps back. However, still Yi Chen blocked him into a corner. Let me ask you one more question, are you going or not? Chen Tianzai was sweating profusely. He wanted to be tougher and face Yi Chen directly. But when he met Yi Chen's eyes, he felt nervous and didn't dare to look at him again. He still backed off. Let's go, what's the big deal? He walked past Yi Chen carefully and looked back at Hu Xiaoyao. Hu Xiaoyao, remember this matter is not over yet. I will not stop until I get the money. However, the words were not finished. Yi Chen kicked Chen Tianzai on the butt. Thump! Chen Tianzai fell flat on his face, his mouth hitting the door sill, blood flowing from his mouth, and his 2 front teeth were knocked out. Chen Tianzai covered his mouth and howled like a pig being slaughtered, giving people goosebumps. He stared at Yi Chen, furious to the extreme. However, Yi Chen said calmly, if you don't leave now, it won't be as simple as just 2 front teeth. How could Chen Tianzai dare to wait any longer? He stumbled out of the apartment in a panic, but the fierce look in his eyes before leaving made Hu Xiaoyao very worried. Yi Chen, I'm sorry, I didn't expect you to be involved. Hu Xiaoyao sighed and said to Yi Chen, there's nothing to be sorry about between friends. I'll beat up this scumbag every time I see him, don't worry. Yi Chen shook his head and smiled slightly. Hu Xiaoyao couldn't help laughing when she thought of Chen Tianzai's funny look with missing front teeth. But no matter what, I still want to thank you. If it weren't for you, I don't know what I would have done. Hu Xiaoyao pursed her lips, her face full of helplessness. How about this? I'll go with you tomorrow and resolve this matter once and for all. If you are a thief for 1,000 days, how can you be on guard against thieves for 1,000 days? I have a lot of things to do recently, and it is impossible for me to stay in the apartment all the time. What if Chen Tianzai goes crazy and does something against the law of nature? How can a girl like Hu Xiaoyao prevent him? And he also planned to go and look at the car. Taking taxis all the time is not a good idea, right? Well, it just so happens that I have nothing to do tomorrow. Hu Xiaoyao nodded but was still worried. Chen Tianzai would never let go so easily. How could Yi Chen solve the problem? Okay, I'm going out for a while. If anything happens, call me immediately. Yi Chen told her to close the doors and windows before leaving. When he was about to go out, he saw Chen Tianzai's figure sneaking in the corner outside the apartment. But he didn't go up to expose it. This kind of clown is far worse than Scar Baldy. If we really start a fight, he'd definitely pee his pants out of fear. Yi Chen randomly found a roadside stall, had dinner, and started walking along the artificial lake of the apartment. This property has high-end apartments on one side and luxury villas on the other. There is a bridge in the middle. As Yi Chen walked to the edge of the bridge, feeling the cool breeze, he heard a familiar voice. Yi Chen, Mr. Yi, is it really you? Yi Chen looked up. Just see. The slim figure in front of me, wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap. Who else could it be but Meng Zixuan? So you're a big star, why you live here too? Yi Chen pointed towards the villa. Yes, what a coincidence. It seems we will be neighbors from now on. Meng Zixuan took off her sunglasses, and the two of them walked to a corridor and sat down. Last time it was all thanks to you, and recently my luck has improved, and I got the role of the heroine. Lin Wanmo asked someone to bring the square lacquer box to her. Within 2 days, she received an announcement that a well-known director had asked her to audition. He was very satisfied with her performance and had already signed the contract. Congratulations. Yi Chen smiled slightly and raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect that this square lacquer box was indeed extraordinary. So, what about the rare jade he made? Chapter 48, Murong Jing's Contempt, the master behind Meng Zixuan's huge Chen. Under the moonlight, the breeze blows gently and the lake ripples softly. And with the lights on, the scenery becomes even more pleasant. Meng Zixuan is no different from an ordinary woman, and since she seems to have very few opportunities like this, she seems to be very talkative. From this lucky break, how she got the leading female role, how she auditioned, and how she signed the contract, she told the whole story. You know what? Sister Liu originally found several scripts for me, but they were all second or third female roles, all of which were very annoying villains. It would have a huge impact on my image. I'm thinking if things really don't work out, I might as well play a female villain. After all, I can't always rely on endorsements. If I don't get exposure, the drop in traffic will be terrible. Luckily, that square lacquer box was at home, and the next day, the audition for the leading female role came in. Isn't that a coincidence? Also, the director is pretty nice. I was so nervous during the audition that I even forgot a line, but he didn't stop me. Hehe, Yi Chen, this time it's really thanks to you. The effect of this square lacquer box is immediate. When Yi Chen thought of the rare jade in his hand, he couldn't help but feel a little more excited. Only, what he was more curious about was how Meng Zixuan, a popular actress, knew the mystery behind this. Yi Chen thought for a moment and asked her, "Who asked you to buy this square lacquer box?" Meng Zixuan looked up, stared at Yi Chen, and hesitated for a moment. If it were someone else, I would definitely not tell him, but you are Yi Chen. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to get this square lacquer box. Also, Mr. Zhuge said that if you hadn't cleared the evil spirit from this square lacquer box, I'm afraid not only would my luck not improve, but I'd even be plagued by constant misfortune. Hearing this, Yi Chen raised his eyebrows. Mr. Zhuge. Zhuge Chen, actually he's very famous in our circle. Many top stars have received his guidance. Yi Chen nodded. He understood that people like Zhuge Chen knew some feng shui and strange techniques. What the entertainment industry lacks the least is rich people who spend money lavishly. Sister Liu happened to meet Mr. Zhuge when she was doing a press conference last time. She put in a lot of effort and got his advice. It was that square lacquer box. But he said, unfortunately, the inside of this square lacquer box is so badly damaged that it might not last long. Speaking of this, a hint of worry flashed in Meng Zixuan's eyes. A woman's best years are always short, and this is especially true for female stars. Some female stars soar to the sky and reach the peak as soon as they debut. They are as brilliant as shooting stars, but their career is extremely short-lived. Some actresses, however, are like old wine, which only blooms into fragrance after aging. She, Meng Zixuan, doesn't want to be like a shooting star, nor does she want to be like old wine. She wants to be popular from the moment she debuts to the end. And Zhuge Chen, this master, is the thread that controls her destiny. Only, Zhuge Chen's price was not cheap, even if she signed the contract for this heroine-led drama, plus the money from the endorsement. Wanting him to give you some more advice would just be a drop in the bucket. Hey, Meng Zixuan, what a coincidence you're here too. At this moment, a lazy voice sounded, with a bit of hoarseness and magnetism. By the way, who is this? Yi Chen looked up. Just see. A tall and thin young man walked over. He is handsome but a little feminine, especially his pair of peach-shaped almond eyes, which make him look a little weird. The man looked at Yi Chen, frowned, and a cold look flashed in his eyes. Yi Chen, my friend. Murong Jing, why are you here? Meng Zixuan smiled slightly, introduced herself, and looked at Murong Jing. Murong Jing said, "Didn't you just get the female lead role? I happen to be the male lead and will be rehearsing scenes together soon. Since we live in the same neighborhood, I wanted to rehearse your lines with you. But you weren't here, so I came here." He looked at Meng Zixuan, and a flash of desire appeared in his eyes. It has to be said that Meng Zixuan is indeed a natural beauty, no less beautiful than Lin Wanmo. At this moment, she stood up from the bench, wearing a long dress that perfectly set off her beautiful figure. Plus, she has natural dimples, and her smile is like a blooming pear blossom, making people intoxicated. Meng Zixuan, Meng Zixuan, I will definitely get you. He took a deep breath and looked back at Yi Chen. Yi Chen, we haven't heard of him in our circle, let alone people outside the circle. Why aren't you leaving yet? Can't you see they're busy? He snorted coldly, with a hint of arrogance and disdain. Rehearsing lines? Forget about that. I have other things to do privately. Meng Zixuan was no fool, and quickly and politely refused. In other words, how could she be a fool if she could achieve what she has without any big capital support, and be on par with top actresses? Also, Yi Chen is extraordinary. Mr. Zhuge even praised him highly. Having said that, she wrinkled her nose and snorted softly. Mr. Zhuge, how is that possible? Murong Jing shook his head and laughed in silence. Who in our circle doesn't know Mr. Zhuge's name? I've always wanted to visit him, but I never had the chance. Zixuan, stop joking. Time is precious. You have to know that I'm the male lead. If I don't act well in the future, it will be very annoying to the director. However, before he could finish his words, he was interrupted by another voice. Your chance has come. Hearing this voice, Jing frowned. However, he looked back with a look of shock on his face. Mr. Zhuge. The person who came was none other than Zhuge Chen. He is of ordinary build and looks. Judging from his age, he is only a few years older than Yi Chen and Jing, but his temperament is extremely unique. Even in this night, it looks extremely dazzling like bright stars. Who knows? Zhuge Chen didn't look at Jing again, but looked at Yi Chen. Mr. Yi, I didn't expect to meet you here. Nice to meet you. Yi Chen narrowed his eyes and looked at Zhuge Chen. This master that Meng Zixuan mentioned did not have the slightest demeanor of a master, and his attitude was also very friendly, as if he had met an old friend. But in Yi Chen's opinion, there was a hint of terrible danger in Zhuge Chen's eyes. Mr. Zhuge's name is well known to everyone. I am honored to meet you. When he said this, he looked at Meng Zixuan beside him, and Meng Zixuan smiled and said, Mr. Zhuge, I didn't expect you to come too. We were just talking about you. Talk about me? Talk about what? Zhuge Chen said, oh, and glanced at Meng Zixuan without any emotion. On the contrary, Jing, who was left aside, couldn't hold it in any longer. He interrupted the conversation between the three and said coldly, Mr. Zhuge, what qualifications does Yi Chen have to stand here? Why don't you go to my villa and let me entertain you well? Chapter 49, The Unlucky Jing and the Evil Zhuge Chen. Jing's voice instantly froze the air. Yi Chen, Meng Zixuan, and Zhuge Chen looked up and looked at him. Click! Jing's heart skipped a beat. Facing the gazes of the three, he coughed dryly, forced a smile, and said, What's wrong? Is there a problem? Jing. Meng Zixuan's face darkened, and she stared at Jing with some displeasure. If it weren't for Yi Chen, the square lacquer box would probably have been a complete failure. It wouldn't be like it is now, where my luck has turned. I've got the leading female role, and I've got several more announcements. Yi Chen is my friend. Of course he has the right to be here. On the contrary, Mr. Zhuge is such a great man, you can't just order him around. Hearing this, a murderous look flashed across Jing's face. What, did I say something wrong? Meng Zixuan, don't forget your identity. This boy Yi Chen is quite handsome, but so what? There are so many people like this in the entertainment industry. If you don't have connections and capital, it doesn't matter how handsome you are. I'm different. I know a lot of famous directors and media outlets. If you're determined to protect him, be careful, you'll end up on the headlines tomorrow. Obviously, Jing was a little angry and embarrassed. As soon as Meng Zixuan heard these threatening words, her chest heaved with anger and her face flushed red. You are ignorant. She stared at Jing, never expecting that the popular leading actor who was about to act opposite her would be in such an ugly state. It would have been fine if he had just said that they were discussing the script late at night, but now he was actually mocking Yi Chen. How arrogant. Who is Yi Chen? Zhuge Chen praised it highly, but in his mouth it was worthless. How is that possible? Yi Chen narrowed his eyes. Jing has been targeting him from the beginning until now, full of hostility. Before, seeing that he was Meng Zixuan's character in the drama, I was too lazy to bother with him. I didn't expect that he would go further and further. Does he really think he is made of clay? However, before Yi Chen could speak, Zhuge Chen smiled grimly. Hey! He stared at Jing with burning eyes. The latter was inevitably a little flustered by his sharp sweep. But he still asked, Mr. Zhuge, what's wrong? Nothing, you can go now. Zhuge Chen still shook his head and said lightly, what? Jing thought he had misheard and looked at Zhuge Chen in confusion. However, Zhuge Chen suddenly blew a breath towards him. In the darkness of the night, Meng Zixuan and Jing were completely unaware. Only Yi Chen raised his eyebrows and saw a wisp of purple smoke entering Jing's body. Jing shuddered as if he had lost his soul. His eyes were dull, and he didn't even glance at the three people as he walked towards the villa area. Yi Chen's heart was shocked. This purple smoke is very unusual, similar to poison, extremely tricky and vicious. If Yi Chen had not mastered the golden pupils, he would probably not be able to understand the mystery of it. This Zhuge Chen is no simple matter. If Jing doesn't find a way to deal with this purple smoke, even if he doesn't die, he will be crippled. Thinking of this, his heart tightened. Zhuge Chen was so deep and vicious, smiling but hiding a dagger. It was better to be careful when dealing with him. As she watched Murong Jing walk away, Meng Zixuan was confused and asked in a daze, "What happened to Murong Jing?" He suddenly stopped talking and actually left. Her big eyes flickered as she looked back and forth between Yi Chen and Zhu Chen, trying to figure out what was going on. Forget it, forget it. I don't care about him. You guys are all mysterious and unfathomable. You should have a lot of topics to talk about, right? Then I'll be leaving first. Meng Zixuan waved at Zhu Chen, smiled at Yi Chen, and then left. Only Yi Chen and Zhu Chen were left by the lake. Yi Chen didn't say anything, and Zhu Chen was also very patient. The two remained silent for nearly 2 minutes. Zhu Chen couldn't help himself and squinted his eyes and said, "Yi Chen, when I first saw the square lacquer box, I almost made a mistake. Not only did you see the mystery inside, you even solved it. I wonder who your master is." In his opinion, a mysterious young man like Yi Chen must be from a wealthy family. Just like him, he comes from the Zhuge family. This has no sect or school. Yi Chen smiled slightly and shook his head. "Mr. Yi, you're joking. How is this possible?" Having said that, he changed the subject and narrowed his eyes. "However, Mr. Yi, there are people above Meng Zixuan, so please keep your distance." Yi Chen frowned and stared at Zhu Chen for a few seconds. "I wonder what Mr. Zhuge means by this. It's nothing special. Anyway, it's better for you if you listen to what I said." He smiled, said nothing more, and walked past Yi Chen in a flash. Yi Chen's heart tightened, and out of the corner of his eye, he sensed a tiny insect drilling into his body. In a flash, he flicked his finger and sent the insect flying. The insect hummed softly and fell to the grass beside it. Looking at Zhu Chen again, "Where is he?" Yi Chen breathed a sigh of relief and bent down to look. This bug is probably only the size of a grain of rice. Its entire body is pitch black, with a terrifying sheen on the surface, as if it wants to choose someone to devour. Poisonous insect. This Zhu Chen exudes evil energy from head to toe. He actually has this kind of evil magic. He picked it up and looked at it. This poisonous insect is extremely vicious, many times more powerful than the purple smoke. If you really get infected, you'll probably be dead soon. Zhu Chen, I didn't expect you to attack me. You're looking for death." A murderous look flashed across Yi Chen's eyes. "If someone respects me 1 foot, I will respect him 1 yard. If anyone offends me, I will kill him immediately. Also, Meng Zixuan doesn't seem to be a simple person either. Otherwise, how could she attract so much attention from someone like him? As for Murong Jing, I'm afraid Zhu Chen had already taken action before that kid had this idea. Oh right, and that square lacquer box, it clearly belongs to Su Zhengyuan. Could it be related to them?" Thinking of this, Yi Chen took a deep breath and shook his head. These events seem to have nothing to do with each other, but if you look deeper, they seem to be closely connected. But it has little to do with him. As for Zhu Chen's plot just now, Yi Chen was on guard. Next time you meet Meng Zixuan, ask her about the origins of Zhu Chen. After meeting Meng Zixuan, Murong Jing, and Zhu Chen, Yi Chen lost the desire to take a walk and return to the villa. He originally wanted to knock on the door and ask about Hu Xiaoyao's situation, but then he thought that doing so would make Hu Xiaoyao very embarrassed. "Forget it, let's talk about it tomorrow when we get back from get-off work." The next day, AI Shang Medical Beauty Sales Department. Yi Chen had just punched in and hadn't even entered the door when he heard cheers coming from inside. "Hey everyone, look, Manager Yi is here." Chapter 50 promoted to Sales Manager. Su Zhengyuan's calculation. Manager Yi. Hearing this, Yi Chen was confused. He shook his head and laughed. "What's going on here?" "Who knows?" Lin Wanmo walked out from behind the crowd. She smiled slightly and said, "Yi Chen, Wang Kao has been arrested, and the position of sales manager has become vacant. Everyone unanimously recommends you to be the sales manager." After she finished speaking, the girls behind her began to chatter and echo her. "Yes, Yi Chen, although you have only been in the sales department for a short time, your ability is obvious to all. The manager position belongs to you. Besides, we all believe that you are different from Wang Kao and will definitely not treat us unfairly. What's more, you're a favorite in President Lin's eyes. In the future, you should speak to the president more often and ask for a raise for us, he. After hearing what they said, Lin Wanmo was not angry but stared at Yi Chen. "Yi Chen, what do you think? Don't you want to be the manager?" Her dark eyebrows were slightly furrowed. As if she was both angry and displeased, she was extremely charming. In terms of ability, Yi Chen is not bad. After all, the reason why they were able to get rid of Wang Kao this time was because of his suggestion. Not to mention the upgraded formula of the Neian series. And he is also quite popular in the sales department. At least after he was nominated, many people expressed their support. That's not the case. That's great. You'll be manager Yi from now on. You'll have to pay more attention to the sales department. If you have any questions, please ask Secretary Zhao. Lin Wanmo did not allow Yi Chen to refute and immediately made the decision. After she finished speaking, she waved to Yi Chen, left the sales department, and went to do other things. Seeing this, Yi Chen could only shake his head and smile bitterly. The women in the sales department were even more lively. Yi Chen, I told you this manager position must be yours. President Lin just announced it as soon as he arrived. You won't make us work overtime like Wang Kao did, right? If that's the case, I won't agree. At worst, I can just find another job. Also, since you've been promoted to manager, shouldn't you treat us? Amidst the discussions, Yi Chen calmed down. Everyone, please be quiet. Everyone fell silent. Don't worry, I won't be working overtime. From now on, it'll be 9 to 5, whatever happens. As for sales performance and KPIs, there's no getting around it. I absolutely can't slack off during work hours. Also, the treat is easy to talk about. Let's have a good team-building session after get off work this Friday. After Yi Chen finished speaking, the smiles on the girls' faces became even brighter. There is a world of difference between Yi Chen and Wang Kao. What's more, he has an extraordinary relationship with Lin Wanmo. If he really takes charge of the sales department, his prospects are naturally bright. Comfort the women. Yi Chen sat in Wang Kao's previous chair, looking at the separate office, feeling quite emotional. Everything that happened in the past 10 days was so fast and so wonderful. The God-level favorability system was inexplicably awakened, and after receiving the reward, everything turned upside down. From an unknown, ordinary employee, he was promoted to the position of sales manager. He also has 500 million in funds, a body far superior to that of an ordinary person, medical skills, and golden eyes. If you say, in the past, it felt like there was a chasm between me and Lin Wanmo. The gap was too huge. Now, thinking about it, it's not so out of reach. Just as I was thinking about it, Zhao Yuhyun arrived. She knocked on the door lightly, then walked up and handed Yi Chen a stack of documents. Manager Yi, this is what General Manager Lin ordered. The daily work and precautions for the sales department manager. If you don't understand anything, you can ask me. Yi Chen nodded and thanked her. After Zhao Yuhyun left, Yi Chen picked up the document and took a look. The document details the daily tasks and work requirements of the sales department manager. Yi Chen only took a few glances and understood it roughly. In fact, it is neither difficult nor easy. After all, the daily sales tasks are there. Moreover, there is not only one sales manager, but 5 in the entire AI, Shang Medical Beauty. It can be said that the competition is still quite fierce. But the most important requirement, of course, is to sell more company products. Now the AI Shang Medical Beauty series is proceeding in an orderly manner, and with Meng Zixuan's support, the impact of previous negative news has been completely eliminated. As for further expanding market share, it is not something he, a sales manager, can control for the time being. Actually, compared with ordinary employees, the job of a sales manager is much easier. Moreover, he was promoted to manager on his first day, so he just had an understanding of the job and did not have any specific work. After thinking about it, he walked towards Lin Wanmo's office. At the same time, in the Su family villa, Peng Shuai, holding a cigarette in his mouth, looked at Su Zhengyuan in front of him and snorted coldly. Boss Su, you also know that Yi Chen is so hateful that he doesn't even take you seriously. Su Zhengyuan smiled slightly. Peng Shuai, stop provoking me. If we really have a grudge, you and Yi Chen are irreconcilable. But as a businessman, I believe in making money through harmony. Hearing this, Peng Shuai put out her cigarette and couldn't help laughing. Boss Su, let's be frank. If you say that, there's no need for us to talk. Su Zhengyuan frowned and sighed. Speaking of which, that brat Yi Chen humiliated me in front of everyone. It's really despicable. He slammed the table, and thinking of Yi Chen's expression at that time, he was also furious. If it weren't for him, those gambling stones wouldn't have been cut open, resulting in a loss of billions. Okay, since we're all in the same boat, let's cut to the chase. Tell me, what are you going to do? Peng Shuai narrowed her eyes and looked at Su Zhengyuan. Although he has Han Feng, more friends mean more paths. Su Zhengyuan is an old fox with huge power, so he may have a solution. Didn't AI Shang Medical Beauty go public half a year ago? Hey, what do you think? He stopped talking here, and Peng Shuai's eyes lit up. Yes, it's a listed company, then let's crash its stock price. He looked up at Su Zhengyuan and chuckled. Boss Su, I'll need your support when the time comes. Su Zhengyuan nodded and stretched out his hand to shake it. Asheng Medical Beauty Company is thriving. If we really take action, we will definitely kill 1,000 enemies and lose 800 of our own. Young Master Peng, be prepared. Once this is accomplished, and I take control of AI Shang Medical Beauty, these losses will be nothing to me. The beauty formula controlled by AI Shang Medical Beauty is unique on the market. If he really wants to take over the company, then with the channels of the Peng Group, he will definitely move to a higher level. Peng Shuo and Su Zhengyuan shook hands and left with a smile on their faces. Looking at his back, Su Zhengyuan's eyes gradually became deep. Yi Chen, I thought I would give you a little sweetness and let you concentrate on working for me, but I didn't expect that you would refuse it. Do you really think that you can be superior to me with your piercing eyes? In the future, you will definitely regret your previous decision. Thinking of this, he clenched his fists, and murderous intent flashed across his mind. Chapter 51, Unexpected Reward, Stock Market Trends for the Next 10 Days. AI Shang Medical Beauty. Lin Wanmo's office. After a weekend of rest and adjustment, the company finally got back on track. The appointment of Yi Chen as sales manager was also something she had considered carefully. I don't know why. Judging from everything that has happened recently, Yi Chen's impression of her has changed greatly. Accompanying her for prenatal checkups, dealing with the traitor Wang Kao, developing a relationship with Gu Qingshan, judging the auction, and the magical performance of gambling on stones. How can this be considered an ordinary employee of the company? It is no exaggeration to say that they are the elite among the elites. The sales manager also gave Yi Chen a starting point and a step. Maybe I should try to accept him. Lin Wanmo looked down at her slightly bulging belly, and her pretty face turned slightly red. But then she shook her head. Ba, Lin Wanmo, what on earth are you thinking about? The two people's perception is not so easy to make up for. At least it won't be passed by my parents. What's more, it will also cause certain turbulence to the rising companies. Unconsciously, she sighed, lay down on the table, and began to daze. Bang, banged. There was a knock on the door. Lin Wanmo looked up, and unexpectedly it was Yi Chen. She perked up and said, "Come in. Isn't it bothering you?" Yi Chen sat in front of Lin Wanmo and asked her. "No, nothing's wrong now." Lin Wanmo shook her head and stared at Yi Chen for a few seconds. "How is it going? Are you adapting to the position of sales manager?" "It's okay. It's actually no different from usual, except I'm more idle." The two exchanged a few pleasantries. Lin Wanmo's expression became serious. She stared at Yi Chen and said seriously, "By the way, Yi Chen, the square lacquer box has been handed over to Meng Zixuan." She was very satisfied and signed a new contract to support the Yan series II. It has received very good response. Having said this, she paused. Unfortunately, Wang Kao is very tight-lipped. He insisted that he was deliberately framing the company out of resentment. Anyone who is not a fool can see that there must be someone behind him. However, without evidence, the blame can only be placed on him. Yi Chen nodded. This was within his expectations. Judging from Peng Shuai's various reactions, it was most likely him who was behind this. So next, AI Shang Medical Beauty will adjust its upstream resource chain and cut off its cooperation with the Peng Group. Speaking of which, it's all thanks to you. If it weren't for those jades, I wouldn't have been able to deal with those old foxes so easily. Lin Wanmo stared at Yi Chen and smiled sweetly. She was so beautiful. Except for the top-grade emerald and imperial green, she did not touch them, thinking of returning them to Yi Chen. Other scattered jadeite, glass, and ice types are also of great collection value and satisfy their appetite. Make the best use of them. To me, they're not of much value, so they're perfect for you to use. As soon as Yi Chen finished speaking, he took out a piece of rare jade and handed it over. "What is this? A gift for me?" Lin Wanmo took it and looked at it, and found that it was a jade pendant. There are irregular stripes on the pendant, which looks like it was hand-painted and slightly rough. But for some reason, she felt her heart pounding just by taking a look. It was as if there was some kind of strange luster and power that made her unable to help but fall into it, and couldn't extricate herself. A piece of jade works better than a square lacquer box. Yi Chen pointed at her smooth neck. "It will keep you healthy and free from disasters. Wear it." "Good." Lin Wanmo is already extremely beautiful, and now with the embellishment of the jade pendant, she looks even more charming and elegant. She stood up and walked to the mirror and took a look. The red rope and green pendant matched her plaid shirt very well. Her heart warmed and she turned around and smiled at Yi Chen. "Yi Chen, thank you. It's almost time for dinner. Can you eat with me later?" Yi Chen was stunned for a moment, then came to his senses. I have to say, Lin Wanmo is indeed the flower of the Magic City, and the most beautiful one at that. Even the big star Meng Zixuan is slightly inferior to her. Even though Yi Chen had a strong mind, he couldn't help but feel distracted just now. What's wrong? Is there something wrong? Lin Wanmo frowned slightly and stared at Yi Chen, feeling a little nervous. Nothing, let's go eat together later. Yi Chen shook his head and laughed in silence. Seeing that he agreed, Lin Wanmo felt relieved. Okay, it's settled. Unconsciously, their eyes met. Lin Wanmo's heartbeat began to accelerate, and the atmosphere began to become somewhat ambiguous. Ahem. Just at this moment, Secretary Zhao Yuhyun came in. She said to Lin Wanmo, Boss Lin, the finance department just said that the accounts receivable have arrived, and the reserve funds are also fine. The loan we borrowed from Tianxing Trust can be redeemed. Finished. She looked between Yi Chen and Lin Wanmo with a suspicious look, as if she was thinking about something. Lin Wanmo glanced at her and said, I see. Go over and keep an eye on it. Have the finance department take care of this matter. Just tell them that the company's future investment funds can be placed with Tianxing Trust to establish a long-term cooperative relationship. Tianxing Trust has strong assets, extensive networks, and deep roots in Shanghai. If a cooperative relationship can be reached, the brand influence of AI Shang Medical Beauty will be further enhanced. And if we want to expand industry rules and raise funds in the future, with the guarantee of Tianxing Trust, won't it be easy? After Yi Chen was stunned for a moment, he finally reacted. Wasn't the 200 million yuan of funds from Tianxing Trust the one he had entrusted to him before? He asked Hu Xiaoyao to invest the remaining 300 million yuan on his behalf. I've been busy these days and haven't paid attention to these. When the funds return to the account, ask Hu Xiaoyao and find a way to invest in some industries. Even though the interest alone is enough for me to live on for the rest of my life, isn't it true that money makes money, that it represents its greatest value? When Yi Chen thought about this, a lot of ideas came to his mind. But as to how to invest, I still have to consult Hu Xiaoyao and ask for her opinion. Okay, I understand. I'll do it right away. Zhao Yuhyun winked at Lin Wanmo and made a gesture of encouragement. Lin Wanmo glared at her and said in a low voice, Why don't you go quickly? Zhao Yuhyun stuck out her tongue, hurried out of the office, and went to redeem the Tianxing Trust funds. The atmosphere just now was gone, and Yi Chen said, I'll go back to the sales department first and wait for you at the door later. Watching Yi Chen leave, Lin Wanmo fell into deep thought again. Should I tell him later? I have another prenatal checkup tomorrow. Sales department. Yi Chen sorted out the documents on his desk, picked up his clothes, and was about to go out. Who knows? At this moment, a cold mechanical electronic sound rang out. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Lin Wanmo's favorability towards the host has increased. Get a reward, a stock market chart for the next 10 days. Chapter 52, Yi Chen's plan, Hu Xiaoyao's worries. It wasn't until he and Lin Wanmo arrived at the restaurant, next to the company, that Yi Chen came to his senses. Seeing that he was not in the right state, Lin Wanmo frowned slightly and asked Yi Chen, What's wrong? Is there something wrong? I feel that you are absent-minded. No, it's okay. Yi Chen shook his head, feeling a little embarrassed. Sorry, I was thinking about something and I felt a little dazed. I'll be fine in a while. To be honest, he is still in shock. He actually expected the favorability to increase. Only, he didn't expect that this reward would come just when he was thinking about how to invest his idle funds. Stock market trend chart for the next 10 days. Yi Chen took a quick look. The rise and fall of all stocks in the next 10 days are in his mind. Exactly. What is the concept? Even the stock god Buffett would be beaten by him. What a pity. The reward he had received before was only a few hundred million. If it's billions, tens of billions. No, I'm afraid it's not that simple. The supervision of large amounts of funds has reached an almost harsh level and is ruthless. A few hundred million is just enough room for maneuver. It won't attract extra attention, but you can still make a lot of money. Looks like it's time to have a good chat with Hu Xiaoyao. Before, he put the money in Tianxing Trust and didn't care about it, letting the other party handle it. But now, even if you sign a bet agreement with Tianxing Trust and the other party guarantees profits, it will never be as fast as making money in the stock market. The current stock market fluctuation limit is 20%. If the principal is 500 million, the stock price rose by 20% on the first day, which would be 600 million. The price continues to rise on the third day, which means 720 million. And so on. If it takes 10 trading days, the final principal will be deducted even after deducting the transaction fees. According to conservative estimates, it would be over 2.5 billion. It increased fivefold. Certainly, it's impossible to calculate like that. After all, not every stock can be traded to make a 20% profit. After all, if the stock opens at the daily limit, you won't be able to buy it at all. Settle for the next best thing. Yi Chen calculated that there were a total of 3 stocks in the science and technology innovation sector that he could operate, which could be perfectly connected. However, the final profit is about 2 billion. Although it was a little less than expected, Yi Chen thought about it and felt that it was enough. He is not a person who cares about these things. Certainly, with money, your material conditions will improve, and you can enjoy life appropriately. The most important thing now is Lin Wanmo, who is right in front of him. Yi Chen, let me tell you something. When it was time to serve the food, Lin Wanmo hesitated for a moment, but still gritted her teeth and said to Yi Chen, "Well, what you say?" Yi Chen came back to his senses and stared at Lin Wanmo's pretty face. "That's right, after get off work today, I might have to go to St. Mary's Hospital again." After Lin Wanmo finished speaking, she obviously felt relieved. Routine prenatal checkups once a month is enough, but Lin Wanmo's family has special genes and must be checked once a week. "Okay, no problem." Yi Chen agreed immediately. "If there's anything you need me to do, just tell me. After all, I don't want you to think I'm irresponsible." At this point, he forced a smile. Actually, before Lin Wanmo told him that she was pregnant, he had almost forgotten what happened that night. But these days, I don't know why. Everything that happened that night, even some details, slowly came back to my mind. Since this is the result now, we must bear the corresponding responsibility. Only, he was not sure what Lin Wanmo was thinking. After all, in the eyes of outsiders, he is just an ordinary company employee. And what about Lin Wanmo? A darling girl born with a silver spoon in her mouth, worth billions. Apart from Yi Chen's appearance, the gap between the two is like a chasm. There is a reason why couples are well matched. After all, it can minimize the gap and allow the two families to accept each other. To be honest, even if Lin Wanmo has a lot of feelings for him, it is still very difficult to start a family. I know you're a nice person, but... Speaking of this, Lin Wanmo's pretty face turned slightly red, and she shook her head. She herself was caught in a dilemma. At first, when she knew she was pregnant, she was nervous, worried, anxious, and scared. But now, although all kinds of emotions were greatly relieved during the time spent with Yi Chen, the relationship between them was never broken. She was worried about what would happen if Yi Chen refused. To be cautious, she decided to wait and see. At this time, the waiter came up with the exquisite dishes. "Let's stop talking about this and eat first." Lin Wanmo pointed at the dish in front of her and smiled slightly. "These are all dishes I like to eat." Yi Chen was thinking about something just now, and Lin Wanmo ordered the dishes herself. But the delicacies on the table are almost all Yi Chen's favorites. It can be seen that Lin Wanmo has put in a lot of effort. On the other hand, Zhou Qing only cared about ordering what she liked to eat and didn't care about Yi Chen's thoughts at all. "If you like eat more, here." Lin Wanmo picked up a few pieces of food for him with chopsticks, and Yi Chen almost couldn't catch them. He took a deep breath, stared at Lin Wanmo's pretty face and said, "Wanmo, thank you." The meal was finished in a warm atmosphere, and both of them were very happy. Back to the sales department. Yi Chen dealt with some work and called Hu Xiaoyao. "Yi Chen, it's you. You called me during working hours. Aren't you afraid that your manager will cause trouble for you? His name is Wang Kao. Don't worry, he's been arrested. And I have good news for you. I've been promoted to sales manager." "Really? That's great. I'm getting off work early tonight and bringing some food home to celebrate." I have something to do tonight. Let's do it tomorrow. By the way, I want to ask how much idle funds are available in the trust account." After a few pleasantries, Yi Chen returned to business. "Wait a moment." Half a minute later, Hu Xiaoyao continued. "Asheng Medical Beauty Company has already repaid the loan, and we are currently matching your investment plan, so we haven't used any of it. We still have 500 million in cash. Just don't move." Yi Chen breathed a sigh of relief. He said to Hu Xiaoyao, "I can use these funds now, right? In principle, you have the right to use all funds before the investment plan is released, but once it's released, you can't use them anymore. So you want the money. I'm planning on doing some investing myself. By the way, do you know anything about stocks?" This is my job. Of course I need to know about it. Yi Chen, you are not going to trade stocks or futures, are you? Stock and futures investments have short investment cycles and high returns, but correspondingly, the risks are also high. One wrong move and the whole game is lost. How many people have lost their families and even their lives because of losing money in the stock market and futures? Well, some ideas. No, humph, after I finish my work tonight, I'll come back and talk to you about it. Chapter 53, Yi Chen's Persistence, Stock Market Layout, Second Pregnancy Test. After hanging up the phone, Yi Chen shook his head with a wry smile. He knows Hu Xiaoyao had good intentions and was worried that he would lose all his money investing in stocks or futures. After all, this is not a small amount, 500 million. Many people may never earn this much money in their entire life. But compared to the bottomless stock market, it is nothing at all. Not to mention 500 million or 5 billion. Even 50 billion is just a splash. As the gold medal account manager of Tianxing Trust, Hu Xiaoyao knows the ins and outs of it very well. If you're not careful, these 500 million will be wasted, and there's no place to cry. But this did not prevent Yi Chen from starting to make a plan for stock market investment. For the three stocks, the timing needs to be well connected, and the timing of buying and selling must be exact. Otherwise, if you miss the best opportunity to enter the market, you will suffer a huge loss. Wait, I think I miscalculated. Just at this moment, Yi Chen reacted. You can't calculate profits like this. The daily fluctuation of a stock is limited to 20%. But what if a stock goes from falling 20% to rising 20%? Yi Chen calculated, and his eyes lit up. For example, a stock closed at 10 yuan and fell 20%, or 8 yuan, in the morning session. He bought in at this time. If the increase is 20%, the price will reach 12 yuan. If you calculate it this way, the profit ratio is 50%. The key is whether the goods can be shipped smoothly the next day. If it opens much lower, it won't mean much. Fortunately, there was nothing to do in the sales department in the afternoon, so Yi Chen had enough time to make a detailed and accurate investment plan. Finally done. Yi Chen stood up, stretched his sore shoulders, rubbed his eyes, and let out a long sigh. In his plan, a total of 10 stocks that can be operated were selected, and the ones with the largest daily profit increase were chosen. Even though there are no stocks that have risen 20% from a 20% drop, the average is almost around 30%. 10 trading days. If everything goes smoothly, the final assets will soar from 500 million to more than 6.5 billion. It is 13 times the previous assets. This return on investment. Even Yi Chen, who has a calm personality, couldn't help but take a breath at this moment. Oh my God, making 6 billion, I can't even imagine it. Even gambling on stones doesn't bring such considerable returns. After all, gambling on stones also requires sufficiently valuable seed materials. Otherwise, what comes out is just ice-type and glutinous-type stones, which are not worth much money. If it was before, Yi Chen didn't dare to imagine it at all. But now, Yi Chen suppressed his excitement and engraved the buying and selling points of these stocks, as well as the precise operation time, into his mind. To be on the safe side, he also set a reminder in his phone's memo. Only, he changed his mind. Now the only trouble is the timing of buying. If it is only 500 million, then it will not be difficult to operate. But if it exceeds 1 billion, many institutional funds and retail investors may follow suit. By then, it might even affect the stock trend. Looks like we have to reduce our expected earnings. 5 billion is enough. Yi Chen took a deep breath and decided to prioritize safety and try not to affect the stock price fluctuations too much. In this case, he will need to open multiple accounts. The person who tied the bell must untie it. Hu Xiaoyao, it's up to you. Yi Chen felt a headache when he thought of Hu Xiaoyao. How can we dispel Hu Xiaoyao's concerns? After all, if multiple accounts are opened, Hu Xiaoyao will probably need to step in. Otherwise, you never know when the investigation and audit of your investment account will be completed. Yi Chen frowned and looked at his phone. It was already time to get off work. He looked up and saw that his colleagues outside were all secretly glancing at his office. Obviously, with a new manager, they also need to see whether it is really true, as Yi Chen said, that he will never work overtime. Yi Chen tidied up the desk, shredded some documents he had written before, threw them into the trash can, and then left the office. Manager Yi, what's the matter? Are you going to work overtime today? The person who spoke was Gao Mei, who used to sit opposite Yi Chen, and they had the best relationship. No overtime. Of course, if you volunteer to work overtime for performance, that's not impossible, Yi Chen said in a deep voice, giving her a reassuring smile. Really, that's great. Gao Mei cheered, still unable to believe it. Sisters, pinch me and see if I'm dreaming. Someone next to her immediately pinched her. Ouch, I asked you to pinch my arm, but I didn't ask you to pinch my waist. Hehe, I'm finally free and don't have to work overtime. Yes, this way I can spend more time with the kids. I'm different. I go to the gym and work out. Amidst the laughter and joy, Yi Chen smiled, shook his head, and left the sales department. In front of the AI Shang Medical Beauty Company, Lin Wanmo and her Maserati once again became the focus of everyone's attention. Whether it was the company employees or the pedestrians in front of the office building, they all looked at her with amazement in their eyes. Isn't this Lin Wanmo, CEO of AI Shang Medical Beauty? What is she doing? She seems to be waiting for someone. She keeps looking inside the company. Yes, it should be Yi Chen, the newest sales manager Yi Chen. How is this possible? A mere sales manager is worthy of her waiting here in person. Ha ha ha, you don't know this, right? Before, Yi Chen was just an ordinary employee and President Lin was waiting here. Hiss, comparing yourself to others is so infuriating. Could it be that this second-generation kid from some wealthy family is trying out life and working as an ordinary employee at Lin Wanmo's company? Wrong again. Come on, look for yourself. Yi Chen is out. Seeing Yi Chen, Lin Wanmo took off her sunglasses, waved at him, and smiled sweetly. This way. Yi Chen nodded, walked quickly, and got into Lin Wanmo's car. Oh my God, it's true. But seriously, this Yi Chen is really handsome. I wish I looked like him. Yi Chen, who got into the car, couldn't help but twitch his lips when he heard this. Have to. I'd better go buy a car next week. Otherwise, it would be bad if people gossip about me. The Maserati went straight to Santa Maria Hospital. In the car, Lin Wanmo asked, "How is it? Is there anything going on this afternoon?" Yi Chen shook his head. The work isn't complicated, and we've all solved it. It's just that Wang Kao exploited them too much before, which is actually not conducive to their performance. I want to see how they perform during this period of time after they stop working overtime. Lin Wanmo nodded. If you have any questions about work, you can ask Zhao Yuhuan and me. No matter what decision you make, I will support you. Also, from now on, I might not go to the company as often, so please pay more attention here. Chapter 54, Tang Yu's Troubles, Evil Spirits and Meeting Zhou Qing Again. St. Mary's Private Hospital. Parking lot. Yi Chen saw a BMW out of the corner of his eye, and his heart moved. Sitting in the BMW was a burly man with half-inch hair and arms as thick as his thighs. He looked very ferocious. Isn't this the car of Zhou Qing's cheap boyfriend? He frowned, then smiled. Zhou Qing has become a thing of the past. All grudges will fade away with time and go with the wind. Now, the most important thing is Lin Wanmo in front of him. I don't know why. Yi Chen had a hunch that Lin Wanmo didn't seem to hate him that much. Even when giving her the jade pendant, the joy on her face was not fake, but came from the heart. It seems that she should accept me, and I can also provide her and the child with a stable support. Thinking of this, Yi Chen's expression became firm and more calm. Noticing Yi Chen's mood change, Lin Wanmo couldn't help but ask, "Yi Chen, what's wrong?" "Nothing, let's go in." Yi Chen shook his head and smiled at Lin Wanmo. Good. Lin Wanmo locked the car door, involuntarily took Yi Chen's arm and pulled him into the hospital. Yi Chen's body stiffened for a moment, but he quickly reacted and his heartbeat quickened. This made him more determined in his idea. Lin Wanmo, she is not an ice man to him, but has feelings for him. Outside the pregnancy examination room, Tang Yuo's slender figure is exquisite and graceful, making her a beautiful scenery. Many people passing by couldn't help but look back frequently. She had long been accustomed to this situation and didn't take it seriously. Seeing Yi Chen and Lin Wanmo, Tang Yuo greeted them with a smile. "Wanmo, now that you're here, I've been waiting for you." She waved and winked at Yi Chen. "Oh, and there's also handsome guy Yi Chen, so considerate, he always comes with me." Lin Wanmo rolled her eyes at her. She said angrily, "Tang Yuo, if you don't speak, no one will think you are dumb." Okay. I was just joking, but you took it seriously. It's true that girls can't be kept when they grow up." When she said that, Lin Wanmo blushed and didn't know how to respond. "Come on, I'll take you to the pregnancy examination room. Yi Chen, just wait in the lounge as usual." She took Lin Wanmo to do a pregnancy checkup, and Yi Chen was waiting in the lounge. It seems that Tang Yu is no different from last time, but there is a trace of evil spirit between her eyebrows. Yi Chen thought about reminding her later to be extra careful in the next few days. It really doesn't work. Yi Chen also has a bracelet made of rare jade that can be used for self-defense. At this time, the phone rang. He picked it up and took a look. Who else could it be but Hu Xiaoyao? As soon as the call was connected, Hu Xiaoyao started scolding him. Yi Chen, where are you? Hurry back to the apartment. I need to have a serious talk with you. Don't mess around with investments. Did you hear me? Come back here right now, or I'll contact the company and apply for an asset freeze on you. Yi Chen's mouth twitched. Okay, I'll come back when I'm done and tell you then. His attitude seems pretty good. Hu Xiaoyao's tone softened a bit and she said, Yi Chen, don't play dumb with me. I've prepared the meal. If you don't come back, I'll show you how I'll deal with you. Don't worry, I'll be home on time in an hour. Yi Chen hung up the phone, shook his head, and smiled bitterly. Hu Xiaoyao's tone just now was not very good, but he could completely understand it. Aren't you afraid that he will lose money by investing blindly? In this world, people who are truly good to you often appear as bad people. Hu Xiaoyao is one of them. It seems that we need to find a way to completely dispel her concerns. Otherwise, I'm afraid we won't even be able to open an account. He smiled silently and fell into deep thought. I don't know how long it took. Suddenly, there was a loud noise. Liu Tao, the prenatal checkup doctor, just said that the embryo is healthy, and there are no problems at all. Okay, I'm actually pregnant, hehe. That's because you're capable. It must be a son, right? Have you decided on a name? My name is Liu Tao, which has the character for water next to it. So let's name it after a mountain, Liu Feng. How about that? It sounds nice. Yi Chen got goosebumps when he heard this. It turned out to be Zhou Qing and Liu Tao. He didn't expect it. I actually ran into two of them during my pregnancy checkup. What was even more unexpected was that Zhou Qing would be pregnant. Certainly, this name is quite thoughtful. And at this time, Tang Yu's voice rang out. This is a private hospital. Many pregnant women come here for checkups. Please be quiet. Why, my wife is pregnant and she's taking a pregnancy test. Can't I be happy for a bit? I paid the money, I'm happy. Liu Tao snorted coldly, stared at the pretty Tang Yu in front of him and licked his scarlet tongue. Zhou Qing's appearance was not very good. Only, she was good at serving others and she was recently pregnant, which made him take notice of her. But if we really compare them, the fashionable and sexy Tang Guo, wearing a doctor's uniform, makes his heart beat faster. Tang Guo frowned. Sir, please be respectful. Where are you looking? I'll say it again. This is a hospital. Please keep quiet. Otherwise, I'll have security ask you to leave. It's not like she hasn't seen people with dirty thoughts before, but they were relatively restrained in front of their girlfriends. But who knows? Liu Tao was too bold. He stared at her unscrupulously. Did he really think she was easy to mess with? Don't be so shameless. Is this the service attitude of your private hospital? I paid you, so what if you glanced at me a few times? Liu Tao continued to curse, and his voice became louder. Zhou Qing, who was standing beside him, snorted coldly and stared at Tang Guo, saying, HMPH, you're just a doctor, yet you're dressed so revealingly and put on so much makeup. I think you're the one seducing my husband. Wait, you're Lin Wanmo. Zhou Qing suddenly discovered Lin Wanmo next to Tang Guo and was shocked. Ha, who was I then? Turns out she was with me. I can tell she's not a good person at first glance. I forgot to tell you that the last time I went to see the house, I happened to see Yi Chen with a woman. Her sarcastic look made Lin Wanmo burst out laughing. I know you still hold a grudge against Yi Chen, so you just want to slander him. She knew Yi Chen's character very well, and he was definitely not the kind of person who would abandon someone after having fun with them. Even if I really look at houses with other people, I will never do anything to let her down. Believe it or not. Zhou Qing sneered and turned to look at Tang Guo. And you, stop seducing my husband, or I'll complain to the person in charge of your hospital. When Yi Chen heard this, his brows furrowed. He pushed open the door, walked straight up to Zhou Qing and said, Zhou Qing, this is a private hospital. Now that you have completed the examination, go home quickly and don't cause trouble here. Hey, who do you think you are to meddle in my affairs? When Liu Tao thought of the last time he was slapped in the face, he couldn't help but get furious. He doesn't believe it. Yi Chen dared to take action in the hospital. And, after the last incident, he has been accompanied by bodyguards. I must get this place back today. Chapter 55. The insane Liu Tao Zhou Qing slander Yi Chen's outburst. Liu Tao had a proud look on his face. In his opinion, what private hospital? It's just a toy for rich people like them. He has money, so he is the boss. Tang Yu and others have to serve him well. In his eyes, Yi Chen is nothing. If you dare to shout again, the bodyguard will not be a pushover. He has already gotten out of the BMW. Yi Chen, did you hear that? We spent a lot of money to come here, so what's wrong with yelling a few times? Humph, if you dare to yell at my husband again, I'll tell you all your dirty deeds. When Zhou Qing saw Liu Tao getting angry, she also straightened her back. She finally got hold of Liu Tao's cash cow and became pregnant with his child. We will never allow this matter to fall apart because of Yi Chen. Faced with the two people's questioning, Yi Chen's face darkened. He didn't expect that despite his repeated patience and kind advice, the other party would speak rudely and even threaten him. Even a clay figure can get angry, let alone him. Lin Wanmo was also very annoyed. Liu Tao was like a mad dog biting whoever he caught. Not to mention Yi Chen's ex-girlfriend, Zhou Qing. He is such a weirdo, vain and selfish to the extreme. Tang Guo was even more direct. She narrowed her eyes, looked at Liu Tao and Zhou Qing, and laughed in anger. It seems that talking to you nicely is like talking to a cow. In that case, security. Tang Guo snapped her fingers, and the floor security guard hurried forward. He said coldly, "You guys leave the hospital immediately, otherwise I will be rude." When Liu Tao saw that the man was taller than him, he felt a little scared. But fortunately, his bodyguard is here. As he approached Liu Tao to fight, a fierce aura came towards him. Lin Wanmo and Tang Guo involuntarily took 2 steps back. Even the security guard, who looked ferocious just now, couldn't help but swallow his saliva. "You're welcome, how can you be rude?" Liu Tao was very proud. His eyes swept across the security guards in front of him and fell on Tang Guo and Lin Wanmo. "Hey, weren't you so cool just now? Why are you so dumb now?" Although the security guard was a head taller than Liu Tao, this bodyguard was obviously bigger, with bulging muscles, and looked shocking. He said stubbornly, What on earth do you want to do? If you don't leave now, if you don't leave now." However, before he finished speaking, he was grabbed by the neck by Liu Tao's bodyguard, lifted up, and kicked wildly in the air. "Ha ha ha, Yi Chen, did you see that? This is the private bodyguard I paid a huge price for. Are you scared? Yi Chen, it's your turn next." Liu Tao snorted coldly, and couldn't wait to see Yi Chen being brutally ravaged under the feet of his bodyguard. The bodyguard threw the security guard away. The security guard fell 4 or 5 meters away and hit the wall hard, grimacing in pain. Tang Guo couldn't help but take a breath. She didn't expect that the bodyguard was so fierce, and she didn't expect that Liu Tao and him were so bold that they dared to take action in the hospital. "Wanmo, you guys go first. Leave this to me. I don't believe they don't have the law in their eyes." Tang Guo took out her cell phone and was about to make a call, but was held down by Lin Wanmo. Lin Wanmo looked normal and said to her, "Leave it to Yi Chen. Leave it to him, that person is." "No buts, trust me." Faced with Lin Wanmo's firm gaze, Tang Guo had no choice but to nod. When she looked at Yi Chen, she found that there was nothing unusual about him. In terms of physique, 2 of him are no match for 1 bodyguard, so how can they win? The bodyguard threw away the security guard and took a step forward, causing the floor to shake twice. He narrowed his eyes and stared at Yi Chen as if he was looking at a little white mouse. "Yi Chen, be careful." Tang Guo's heart was in her throat. In contrast, Liu Tao and Zhou Qing could not stop sneering. "Being careful is useless. Beat him up, beat him to death. I'll take responsibility if anything happens." Liu Tao snorted angrily and said to the bodyguard. The bodyguard didn't hesitate any longer and reached out to grab Yi Chen. He wanted to replicate the action he had just used to catch the security guard. However, Yi Chen is not a security guard. Under everyone's shocked gaze, he kicked out. This kick was like a raging thunder, and its speed was extremely fast. And this force was incredibly great, like a sledgehammer. The bodyguard had no time to react before he was kicked in the chest. The whole person flew out in an instant like a cannonball. Banged! There was a deafening explosion. The bodyguard fainted completely, without even a scream. This scene, everyone present gasped. They didn't expect the result to be like this. The giant bodyguard was no match for Yi Chen. Tang Guo blinked at Lin Wanmo, as if asking, "Did you know this would happen?" Liu Tao and Zhou Qing were completely dumbfounded. The two thought that after spending a lot of money to hire a bodyguard, they could rest assured. Who knows? Even the bodyguard was no match for Yi Chen, and he kicked him into the sky. Frightened and frightened, the 2 of them turned around and left without even thinking. However, Yi Chen flashed and stood in front of the 2 men. "You want to leave now?" Yi Chen narrowed his eyes and questioned the 2 of them. He was so arrogant just now, but now that he sees the situation is not right, he immediately shrinks his head. What a complete villain. Yi Chen, what do you want? I'm warning you if you dare to touch a hair on my head. Ah. Before Liu Tao could finish his words, he started howling like a pig being slaughtered. Just see. Yi Chen slapped him on the face, and 5 bright red fingerprints were clearly visible. Seeing this, Zhou Qing on the side said hysterically, Yi Chen, are you done yet? We broke up a long time ago and you still want to harass me. What do you want me to do before you let me go? I never harassed you, it just happened. Yi Chen shook his head and laughed in silence. However, Zhou Qing doesn't care about that. Okay, you forced me to do this. She turned her head to look at Lin Wanmo, and a flash of jealousy flashed in her eyes. Lin Wanmo, just 2 days ago, my husband and I were looking at houses together. He, Yi Chen, bought 2 apartments with another woman. People like him are hypocritical and serious on the surface, but they are full of evil intentions. She stopped talking here. Seeing this, Tang Yu frowned and said, Wanmo, don't listen to her. This woman is like a dog that can't spit out ivory. Would you like me to tell you what you were wearing and what time you arrived? Besides, I'm sure you'd like to know what happened after we left. Seeing this, Zhou Qing continued to sneer. I believe her words, but I don't believe Yi Chen is that kind of person. Lin Wanmo smiled slightly. She knew Zhou Qing's personality very well. She knew Yi Chen's character very well. I've run into Zhou Qing many times recently, but that was purely accidental. As for Yi Chen buying an apartment with another woman, there must be something hidden behind it. I'll tell you about this later. Yi Chen said to Lin Wanmo. His eyes fell on Zhou Qing. Zhou Qing, as the saying goes, it's better to part ways amicably. If you dare to appear in front of me again. As soon as Yi Chen finished speaking, he slapped Liu Tao again, making him dizzy. Chapter 56, Tang Yu's Trouble, the Magical Bracelet. Lin Wanmo's parents called. Tang Yu notified the security office, and someone came quickly to drive Liu Tao and Zhou Qing out. Only after the storm subsided did she breathe a sigh of relief. But, when looking at Yi Chen, Tang Yu widened her eyes and asked in disbelief, Yi Chen, how did you do that just now? She looked Yi Chen up and down, as if she was looking at a little white mouse. Even though Yi Chen has a calm and resolute character, he couldn't help but get goosebumps and feel nauseous. Lin Wanmo smiled slightly and said, Tang Yu, Yi Chen is not an experimental subject. His skills are amazing. Didn't you see him break an iron rod last time? She recounted what happened at the auction house last time, and Tang Yu was dumbfounded. Yi Chen, how did you grow up? Where do you get so much strength from such small arms and hands? Having said that, she sighed. What a pity, what a pity. If you weren't Wanmo's boyfriend, I would have attacked you. Lin Wanmo glared at Tang Yu, who looked regretful. If it were someone else, she would definitely get angry, but Tang Yu was obviously joking, so there was no need to take it too seriously. And, as I said before, she knew Yi Chen's personality, and he was definitely not the kind of person who would attract many attention. As if he could see what Lin Wanmo was thinking, Yi Chen said in a deep voice, When I was looking for an apartment before, I happened to buy 2 apartments with my old classmate Hu Zhaoyao in the International Youth Future City on Kaianian Road. Hu Zhaoyao, this name sounds familiar. Lin Wanmo frowned and suddenly thought of the previous loan account manager of Tianxing Trust. Wasn't her name Hu Zhaoyao? Could it be? She was startled and looked up at Yi Chen. Then she thought about how Yi Chen had asked her before if she needed help solving the financial problem. The answer is already obvious. She took a deep breath, and all her thoughts flashed through her mind. Only, Yi Chen obviously didn't want to know that it was him who was secretly helping him. There was no need to point it out now, just keep it in mind. Yi Chen, nothing happened between you and Hu Zhaoyao, right? Tang Yu narrowed her eyes. Her gaze was quite sharp. If you dare to let Wanmo down, I'm very good at using a scalpel. I can cut you 749 times and still guarantee you'll be alive and well. Humph. Tang Yu's threat had no killing power on Yi Chen. He glanced at Tang Yu twice, and the gray-black aura between his eyebrows became thicker and thicker, almost condensing into substance. He coughed lightly and said, Tang Yu, I think you should take care of yourself first. Me, what's wrong with me? One person's food feeds the whole family. Tang Yu was stunned for a moment and said to Yi Chen, Here, this is for you. It can help you turn misfortune into good fortune. Yi Chen handed her a bracelet. This is what's left from the jade pendants and peace lockets carved from rare jade, and it's just right to be strung together into a bracelet. It sounds so mysterious, is it true? Tang Yu didn't agree, but still took it and put it on her hand. This jade is not very colorful, but it doesn't look cheap either. There are special patterns on the top, which look extremely mysterious, as if there is a stream of light inside looming. Combined with her slender white right hand, it looks very beautiful. Hey, that's pretty good. Thank you in advance. I'll prepare more money for the gift in the future. Tang Guo giggled and winked at Lin Wanmo. Tang Guo, you're talking nonsense again. Lin Wanmo glared at her and shook her head. Tang Guo is a nice person, but sometimes he likes to follow his own will. Let's go get the report. Tang Guo said something and walked towards the self-service machine for test reports. Who knows? Just at this moment, a lamp above her head exploded with a bang. A string of sparks flew up, and then the glass lamp fell down. Careful! Lin Wanmo screamed in fright. Tang Guo was so frightened that she stood like a wooden chicken and couldn't move at all. She could only watch helplessly as the glass lamp fell straight on her head. Am I going to die? Tang Guo's heart was in her throat. But then, the glass lamp fell dangerously, almost touching her cheek. Banged! With another bang, it fell heavily on the marble floor and shattered completely. Tang Guo's heart was pounding. It was not until Lin Wanmo came forward that she reacted. Her body went limp, and she almost fell down. Tang Guo, are you okay? I'm fine, I'm fine. Her face turned pale and her hands trembled. It's too dangerous. The lamp was only a centimeter or two away from hitting her head, and the consequences would be disastrous. She looked down at her bracelet and murmured, "Does it really work? It seems that this bracelet is definitely a treasure." What else? Yi Chen looked extremely calm. Lin Wanmo looked at Yi Chen, who looked calm and composed, and her heart moved. Can this jade really ward off evil? Otherwise, how can we explain what happened just now? She tightened the jade pendant on her chest, and a warm feeling surged in her heart. With misfortunes happening one after another, Tang Guo was in no mood. She took out the report, looked at it carefully for a while, and said to Yi Chen and Lin Wanmo, "The report shows that the embryo is normal and very healthy. Continue to maintain a good work and rest and eating habits and exercise appropriately, but avoid strenuous exercise." Okay, I got it, Tang Guo. Have a good rest. I'll come back next week. Lin Wanmo patted her shoulder, said a few words of comfort, winked at Yi Chen, and the two of them left the hospital. Just got in the car. Lin Wanmo's phone rang. She picked it up and looked at it, frowning. Mom, why are you calling? Who knows? The person on the other end of the phone immediately started scolding him. How can I call you? If I don't call you, you won't know how to go home. Besides, your dad and I were only away traveling for a few days when such a big incident happened at the company. One after another, if one goes wrong, all the hard work of several years will be wasted, and we will have to clean up your mess. Aside, Lin Wanmo's father interrupted. All right, Wanmo is already in her 20s. She should know when to act. You miss her, right? Why don't you just let her go home and see her? Shut up, it's all your fault. You spoil her so much every day that you don't even care about your parents anymore. Come back to me tonight, you hear me? Yi Chen was listening at the side, feeling somewhat embarrassed. She didn't expect it either. It is really surprising that the gentle and virtuous Lin Wanmo has a mother who is a tigress. Mom, I have something to do tonight. Let's do it tomorrow night. Without waiting for her mother to continue, Lin Wanmo hung up the phone. Call. She took a deep breath and looked at Yi Chen beside her, feeling a little embarrassed. Sorry to make you laugh. How could it be? Pity the love of parents in the world. My parents are like this too. Lin Wanmo nodded, started the car, and took Yi Chen home. After a moment of silence, she bit her lip and asked Yi Chen, "By the way, Yi Chen, are you free tomorrow night? I want you to go home with me." Chapter 57. Dispelling Hu Xiaoao's concerns, unexpected discovery. 1000-Year Road. At this time, the lights are on, and the traffic is very busy. After Yi Chen got out of the car, he was stunned for a moment before he reacted and said to Lin Wanmo in the car, "It's okay tomorrow night. I will go with you." "Okay, go eat early. Don't be hungry." Lin Wanmo smiled slightly, waved at him, and drove away. Yi Chen looked at Lin Wanmo's departing back and couldn't help but smile bitterly. What's this, meeting your parents in advance? He shook his head, grinned, and looked helpless. Forget it, don't think too much about it. I've been in a lot of trouble lately anyway, so this is nothing. And she's willing to let me meet her parents. Does that mean she's slowly starting to accept me? Thinking of this, Yi Chen couldn't help but laugh, until Hu Xiaoao opened the door and asked him, "Yi Chen, what are you grinning about? Did you find money?" That's not the case." Yi Chen was embarrassed. He glanced at the table at the bar and saw several plates of delicious side dishes. There were 2 sets of bowls and chopsticks, but Hu Xiaoao didn't pick up the food. "If you're hungry, just eat. No need to wait for me." He glanced at Hu Xiaoyao and felt grateful in his heart. That won't do. Hu Xiaoyao looked at Yi Chen with a serious expression. Yi Chen, sit down. She gestured towards the seat across from the bar. Yi Chen touched his nose and had to sit opposite Hu Xiaoyao. He had thought of this situation before he came back. Hu Xiaoyao has a good personality, but the only thing about her is that she is extremely stubborn. Once you decide on an idea, you will do your best to execute it. Obviously, Hu Xiaoyao thought that he was showing signs of making reckless investments, which is why this happened. The meal tasted good, but it was bland. Hu Xiaoyao hurriedly cleaned up the table and sat back down opposite Yi Chen. She stared at Yi Chen and said, "Yi Chen, do you know what you are doing?" "No." Yi Chen nodded, his expression calm. "At this time, you must not go against it. Otherwise, with Hu Xiaoyao's temper, she would definitely explode. Do you know that you also want to invest in the stock market or futures?" Hu Xiaoyao was so angry that she glared at Yi Chen fiercely. "This is no joke. I've seen many people who, just because they have money and want to make more money, end up with their families broken up." When Hu Xiaoyao said this, she looked at Yi Chen with a face full of earnest words. As a customer manager of Tianxing Trust, she is very familiar with the ins and outs of this matter. Stocks are slightly better, but futures are really brutal. Take 1 million in funds as an example. With 5x leverage, you can get up to 5 million. However, once the loss is 20%, the position will be forced to close, and all the money will be wasted and become the meal of the capital sharks. Companies like Tianxing Trust usually recommend trust funds to their customers. The investment return rate is higher than that of banks, but the risk is very small. 2 words, steady. Many people do not understand investment and financial management, nor do they have the free time to manage it. Investing in funds is the best choice. She thought that if Yi Chen continued to invest 500 million yuan in funds, the returns would be considerable. But investing in stocks and futures is obviously too risky. If you are not careful, you may even lose everything. "You reminded me, leverage." But then Yi Chen shook his head. It is not easy to operate with just 500 million yuan in funds. If leverage is added, such a huge force will be even more difficult to break down. He straightened his face, stared at Hu Xiaoyao, took a deep breath and said, "I'm not aimless. After all, this money didn't come out of thin air. What's more, we've known each other for so many years. Do you think I've done anything stupid?" This money was indeed not blown by the wind, but a reward for the increase in Lin Wanmo's favorability. "Yes, I have. Isn't Zhou Qing a living example?" Seeing his sincere expression, Hu Xiaoyao believed him a little for no reason. "But in my heart, I still can't stop worrying. Zhou Qing is an exception." Yi Chen looked normal as he stared at Hu Xiaoyao. "I don't touch futures. The stock price fluctuates by 20%. You can set a 30% stop-loss line for me. If the stop-loss line is reached, I will never do this again. Is that okay?" Hearing this, Hu Xiaoyao was silent for a moment. She knew Yi Chen's character. He would respond to soft words, but not hard ones. Now that he has made a decision, he will never change it easily. Now he has retreated a little and set a stop-loss line, which is already the bottom line. If I force him again, it will probably backfire. Now that you've said that, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to be the villain again. Okay, I'll set up multiple accounts for you, but I'll set a strict stop-loss line. If you really hit the stop-loss line, I won't hesitate to liquidate all your stocks." Hu Xiaoyao stared at Yi Chen and said seriously, "I know, if I make money, I'll treat you to delicious food." Yi Chen breathed a sigh of relief and smiled at her. "Who knows?" Hu Xiaoyao raised her eyebrows and said, "Is the meal I cooked not tasty?" "No, that's not what I meant. HMPH, go wash the dishes." The last part about washing dishes was, of course, a joke. Yi Chen returned to his room. Now that the account funds issue has been resolved, the next step is layout and operation. Thinking of this, he looked at the selected stock targets again. I was slightly relieved to find that there was no fluctuation in their trend. After making this much money, I can just sit back and relax. I'll leave the rest to Hu Xiaoyao. Maybe I could buy a building or something and collect rent from it. That wouldn't be bad. Yi Chen smacked his lips and muttered, "By the way, let's take a look at the stock trend of AI Shang Medical Beauty. Due to the impact of the product controversy a few days ago, the stock price of AI Shang Medical Beauty Company has fallen. It fell from its previous peak of 30 yuan to 22 yuan. As the matter was resolved, it climbed back up to 25 yuan. Only, Yi Chen discovered that in the next 10 days, the stock trend of AI Shang Medical Beauty will collapse. What's going on? In just 10 trading days, the share price of AI Shang Medical Beauty will fall below 12 yuan, which is equivalent to being cut in half. Without a doubt, this is extremely bad news for listed companies. Not only will investor confidence collapse, but the interests of major shareholders will also be seriously affected. Asheng Medical finally got rid of the threat of Wang Kao, the traitor, and the Yan Series II was launched with great fanfare. Unexpectedly, they're now facing stock issues. What a roller coaster ride. Yi Chen narrowed his eyes and sneered. I didn't expect that the stock market trend over the next 10 days would reveal the fluctuations in AI Shang Medical Beauty's stock price. What a pleasant surprise. It's late now, and it's not appropriate to talk about this. Let's talk to Lin Wanmo tomorrow night after the stock price hits the limit down. Thinking of this, he put aside everything and took a shower to rest. Before going to bed, he received a call from Gu Qingshan, making an appointment for treatment this weekend. Chapter 58. AI Shang Medical Beauty's stock price hits the limit, and a wave of short selling hits. The next day, AI Shang Medical Beauty, Sales Department. Yi Chen punched in for work as usual. I was an ordinary employee before, and needed to go out to do business. But now, unless there is a special event that requires him to show up, he just needs to stay in the office and give remote commands. As for the colleagues who stayed in the company, it can be seen that their mental outlook is significantly different from before. Before, they almost had to go to work with gritted teeth. But now, their faces were filled with smiles, and the improvement in their subjective initiative made them passionate about their work. In less than 2 hours, I had almost finished the work I had done the previous day. But after just a short rest, they got back to the next step of work. This made Yi Chen feel a little relieved. Employees are also human beings. A balance between relaxation and tension, showing human nature, will allow them to work better, right? But he heard some noise in the office next door. The office next door is the Securities Affairs Department, which is headed by Zhao Yuhuan. Normally it looks like a pool of dead people, with no waves. But today the sun came out from the west, and the place was packed with people. Well, it looks like the stock should start to fall. Yi Chen narrowed his eyes and said to himself. He looked calm and just told everyone in the sales department, "Get back to work. I'll go see what's going on." Really? As soon as I arrived at the next door, I saw Lin Wanmo and Zhao Yuhuan. The two men's faces were as gloomy as water, and they had obviously encountered a difficult problem. Seeing Yi Chen, Lin Wanmo's expression eased slightly, and she waved at him. Yi Chen stepped forward and asked, "What happened? I was just next door and heard a quarrel here." "Here, look for yourself." Lin Wanmo pointed to several computers in front of her, on which were displayed the stock price of AI Shang Medical Beauty. It is visible to the naked eye that it has begun to decline. While we were talking, the stock price dropped by more than 1 point, and the market value evaporated by tens of millions. Did the stock market fall so much? Yi Chen frowned and narrowed his eyes. Actually, he had already seen the stock trend of AI Shang Medical Beauty. It was exactly the same as I remembered. After 10 o'clock in the morning, stocks began to sell off sharply, and the stock price fell until the close of the morning. Why stop falling? Because the price has reached the limit down. The price has been locked in the limit down, and the orders for millions of shares cannot be moved at all. Analysts say there might be short selling, but we can't see any signs yet. Are they just making a quick buck and running away, or are they maliciously shorting and killing the stock price of AI Shang Medical Beauty? Zhao Yuhuan added, her face full of anxiety. This period of time, AI Shang Medical Beauty is in constant turmoil. First, there was a product quality issue, which led to the discovery of the traitor. Now the stock market is experiencing abnormal fluctuations again, which is worrying. If it is a normal stock price fluctuation, even if it drops 20 points, it is not a problem. Market conditions and confidence will slowly restore stock prices. But if it is malicious short selling, it will be a terrible poison. If things go wrong, the stock price of AI Shang Medical Beauty will fall to a low point, and the confidence of investors and shareholders will be completely lost. Not to mention, with the successful launch of Yan Series II, Lin Wanmo plans to raise funds through a private placement to expand the scale of AI Shang Medical Beauty's industry. It is not limited to Shanghai, but will be promoted nationwide to make it bigger and stronger. At this critical juncture, if the stock price fluctuates too much, it will obviously be detrimental to the plan for the private placement. Zhao Yuhuan, don't worry about anything else today. Just keep an eye on this place. If you have any news, contact me immediately. Lin Wanmo winked at Zhao Yuhyun and gave instructions. Okay, Mr. Lin, I got it. Zhao Yuhyun took a deep breath and went to communicate with the analyst. Lin Wanmo took Yi Chen back to the president's office. Lin Wanmo poured a cup of coffee for Yi Chen and herself, and then sat on the soft sofa chair. She rubbed her temples, sighed, and said, Yi Chen, what do you think of the company's stock price? This is not because she is desperate and trying all kinds of treatment. But those who are involved are often confused, while those who are on the sidelines can see things more clearly. Yi Chen's previous suggestions were like pointing out the way out of a maze, clearing the clouds and revealing the moon. Maybe. Does Yi Chen, who is outside the authorities, have better ideas? Well, I think this is an opportunity for AI Shang Medical Beauty. Yi Chen hesitated for a moment and said to Lin Wanmo, although he knew the future trend of AI Shang Medical Beauty Company's stock, if he told Lin Wanmo just like that, it would be strange if she didn't think he was crazy. Only when things actually happen can he influence Lin Wanmo through himself and minimize the damage of this stock short selling. You might even be able to make a profit from it. Opportunity, what do you mean? Lin Wanmo raised her eyebrows, glanced at Yi Chen, and shook her head. She had investigated Yi Chen's background and found nothing surprising. His miraculous physical skills and medical skills, as well as his ability to gamble on stones and identify jade, can be said to be innate talents. But this stock is part of the capital market. If you don't get into this industry, you have no idea how intricate it is. Yi Chen has no investment experience, so how does he know this is an opportunity? If it's not malicious short selling, then it's nothing. Just wait for the stock price to go back up. But if it's malicious short selling, then why not just follow the other party's wishes and completely short the stock? The company is in your hands anyway. You know everything. If it has a bright future, wouldn't it be better if you controlled more shares? Yi Chen stopped talking here. The atmosphere in the field suddenly fell into silence. After 2 full minutes, Lin Wanmo came back to her senses and smiled at Yi Chen. That's right. Why didn't I think of that? Any short selling requires funds to maintain. Now, AI Shang Medical Beauty has solved its capital chain problem and has sufficient working capital as a guarantee. If the other party is really shorting maliciously, Lin Wanmo has the ability and capital to absorb the chips at a low price and then catch the other party off guard. She doesn't understand these specific operations, but she doesn't need to understand them. Analysts have been paid high prices all year round. Isn't it time to test them now? Yi Chen, thank you. Lin Wanmo was touched and spoke to him sincerely. Don't say thank you so often in the future. Helping you is my responsibility. Peng Group. Today, a distinguished guest came. It was Su Zhengyuan, president of Zhengyuan Group. Peng Shuai's office. There were several computers placed there at this time, and the stock prices of AI Shang Medical Beauty Company were also displayed on them. General Peng, as you instructed, we conducted a tentative short-selling operation this morning. The other party responded quickly and took strong measures to maintain stability. However, in the afternoon, we will sell all the chips we previously secretly bought at a low price, and then start the next round of buying at a low price. Hearing this, Peng Shuai suddenly interrupted. I don't care about these details. I just want to know that the plan is going on as usual. Also, in 10 days, I want to see the share price of AI Shang Medical Beauty Company cut in half. Even if it costs me some money, I will do it. A ferocious look appeared on Peng Shuai's face. Su Zhengyuan, who was standing beside him, chuckled and said, Mr. Peng is even better than you. If you fight well in this battle, AI Shang Medical Beauty will definitely be yours. As soon as the words fell, the trader immediately began to sell stocks. The stock price of AI Shang Medical Beauty plummeted and hit the lower limit. Chapter 59, Lin Wanmo and AI Shang Medical Beauty's response. Peng Shuai is here again. Yi Chen takes action. AI Shang Medical Beauty. Securities Department. When Zhao Yuhyun saw the stock price hit the limit down, she panicked. She hurried to find Lin Wanmo. The latter had just finished his daily work and came to the Securities Department. When he saw the limit down, his face was as gloomy as water. What's going on? She narrowed her eyes, cold as ice. Normal stock fluctuations will not affect AI Shang Medical Beauty. But now is the window period for the planned private placement. If the stock price drops sharply now, investors' enthusiasm will wane and shareholders' profits will suffer. How can the plan for a private placement be implemented smoothly? The stock fluctuated last week. Someone bought a lot of chips at a low price and just sold them off in large quantities. The stock price hit the lower limit. Zhao Yuhyun said stubbornly, looking at Lin Wanmo with fear in the corner of her eyes. What's next? Our response strategy. Lin Wanmo tapped the table lightly and looked at the analyst beside her. The analyst said, "We didn't react quickly enough this time. We'll review and analyze this later, but right now, the most critical thing is how to stabilize the stock price. If the market continues to crash at this rate, there might even be a second and third limit down. If panic selling occurs, the cost of pushing the stock price back up will be too high. Can you calculate the chips in the other party's hand?" Lin Wanmo frowned and growled. "This, I'm afraid not. The other party's operation is too covert. There must be a master. Now it depends on Mr. Lin's ideas and how stable he wants to be." The analyst looked embarrassed and said to Lin Wanmo. Lin Wanmo was so angry that she almost went berserk. Looking at her frosty beauty, the atmosphere in the securities department suddenly froze. After a while, Lin Wanmo finally said, "It's very likely that the other party is maliciously targeting AI Shang Medical Beauty this time. Therefore, my strategy is to let the stock price fall, buy enough chips at a low price, and then push up the stock price in the future to minimize the losses as much as possible." However, hearing this, the analyst's faces changed. "Boss Lin, if this is the case and no one supports the stock, I'm afraid it won't just be a matter of 1 or 2 limit downs. If the company's main capital does not maintain stability and allows the other party to smash the stock price, it will definitely be a nightmare for AI Shang Medical Beauty. First, there is no stabilizing fund to protect the market. Once there is a large-scale sell-off, retail investors will definitely follow suit and sell out in panic. With this plan, it returned to the other party's hands again. They can take advantage of the market crash to continue buying chips at low prices. One thing leads to another. Even though they suffered a lot of losses, it was definitely AI Shang Medical Beauty that suffered the most losses. And after several limit downs, retail investors' willingness to follow suit will also weaken. Even if subsequent funds increase, they are likely not to enter the market again. The vicious cycle continues, and AI Shang Medical Beauty will no longer have any impact on the investment market in the short term. I know, but do you have a better idea? We don't even know how many chips the other party has. How much capital do we need to inject to stabilize the stock price? Lin Wanmo snorted lightly and couldn't help but yell at the analyst angrily. "But if it stays at 17 or 18, it won't be that difficult." Analysts are still arguing. If we really do as Lin Wanmo says, then what's the point of having him as an analyst? Isn't this utter incompetence? No need to say more, just do as I say. Try to get chips at the lowest price possible, secretly cooperate with the other party to wash the market, and adjust the stock price to the lowest. By the way, if you don't want to do it, you can go to the finance department. The implication is that if you don't do as Lin Wanmo wants, then you should resign. Anyway, this position pays well, but requires little work. If he doesn't do it, there are plenty of people who will. Boss Lin, that's not what I meant. Okay, I'll do as you say. I'll make a detailed operation plan and show it to you before I leave work tonight. The analysts finally gave in. But in his opinion, Lin Wanmo's approach was tantamount to drinking poison to quench thirst. The stock price cannot be pushed up just because there are more low-priced chips. Without retail investors entering the market and relying solely on the main players to pull up the market, how will the funds exit in the future? Not to mention, if this attracts the attention of regulatory authorities, it will be very bad. Well, let's do it. Yu Huan, keep a close eye on her. Make sure nothing goes wrong. Lin Wanmo took a deep breath and instructed Zhao Yuhyuan. As she walked out of the securities department, she passed by the sales department. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Yi Chen staring at the computer in front of him, which showed the picture of AI Shang Medical Beauty's stock hitting the limit down. I didn't expect him to be so thoughtful, and that idea is indeed a good one. It's just, leave professional matters to professionals. It's not good to worry too much. Lin Wanmo smiled slightly, and for some reason she felt a lot more at ease. Sales manager's office. Yi Chen looked at the AI Shang Medical Beauty stocks in front of him and shook his head. I didn't expect it to be the same as what I saw before. AI Shang Medical Beauty's stock price hit the lower limit. However, in the afternoon, there should be another wave of upward movement, a straight line of 2 points, giving retail investors hope and allowing them to buy chips at a low price. In the end, the price will continue to hit the lower limit, completely crushing the hopes of retail investors. When Yi Chen thought of this, he couldn't help but sigh. The investment market is always cruel. With sufficient funds and information, You can seize the opportunity and make a fortune. Unless retail investors are extremely lucky, it is extremely difficult to make money. No wonder Hu Xiaoyao got so angry when she heard I was planning to invest in the stock market. Yi Chen shook his head and smiled slightly. Immediately, he looked at the stocks he was trading. Before, the stocks that I bought in multiple accounts and batches have already opened from the limit down and are going up in a straight line, like a rocket. The profit ratio in the account also soared from 1% to over 10%. And, in the afternoon, the stock will continue to rise and eventually hit the daily limit. It's like heaven and hell compared to AI Shang Medical Beauty, completely opposite. Even though it's just numbers, it's probably more exciting than gambling on stones. Fluctuations in numbers represent changes in earnings. But gambling on stones is different. It is dead. Things can only get worse, not better. It's just a 10-day chart a little shorter. Everything has its limits. Earning this much is enough. If you earn too much and attract other people's attention, that would be very bad. The decline in AI Shang Medical Beauty's stock price did not affect ordinary employees in the sales department. They were still so engrossed in their work that they didn't even realize it was time for dinner. It wasn't until Yi Chen clapped his hands that they reacted. Well, I have something to do tonight, so the dinner has been moved to noon. We can have a good team building during the half-year break. Is that okay with you guys? Chapter 60, Hu Xiaoyao is shocked. She made 250 million in one day. Peng Shua is proud. Tianxing Trust, Hu Xiaoyao had just finished dealing with the things at hand and couldn't help but hold her forehead and let out a long sigh. After pouring a cup of tea, she took 2 sips and immediately felt a lot more energetic. By the way, how could I forget about Yi Chen? Hu Xiaoyao suddenly came to her senses and slapped her forehead. She quickly opened her stock account and prayed silently. I hope the loss isn't too severe, otherwise, it will be a blow to Yi Chen. Hu Xiaoyao shook her head and took a deep breath. However, she logged in and was surprised. Read, ahaha, I'm pretty lucky. I didn't lose any money. Wait a minute, something's not right. Hu Xiaoyao was stunned. Then she realized what was happening and was shocked beyond words. Oh my God, the profit ratio is actually 20%. She was so shocked that she was a little dazed. If you just buy a stock at random and make a few points, that's just luck. But this stock had previously hit the limit down. Yi Chen is so brave. Although capital investment, the greater the risk, the higher the return, but this is like walking on a tightrope. If you are not careful, you will end up losing everything. Did he do it unintentionally, or does he really have this ability? Hu Xiaoyao fell into a daze. No way. This is so unexpected. She originally thought that Yi Chen would most likely suffer losses if the overall market conditions were not good. Even if she is not careful, she will reach the stop-loss line, and she will be forced to liquidate her position. But now, Yi Chen actually earned so much, and it was difficult for her to break the agreement between them. Yi Chen, you really put me in a difficult position. It's okay as long as we make money, everyone is happy. But what if there is a loss? For the stock market, locking in profits is the eternal truth. Should I give Yi Chen a call and ask? Hu Xiaoyao looked at the account funds and was secretly shocked. In just half a day, the profit climbed from 500 million to 600 million. After deducting the handling fees, the net profit was more than 90 million. What does it mean to make a huge profit with little effort? This is called making a huge profit. Tianxing Trust cannot achieve this rate of return. The net rate of return they provide to their customers is generally around 5–10 points for a period of 1 year. Let's see what happens this afternoon first. There's no way to do T0 with this stock. I can only sell it in the morning trading tomorrow. If it falls back in the afternoon, all my efforts will be in vain. Hu Xiaoyao, what are you talking about? Hu Xiaoyao quickly covered her mouth and dared not say anything more. The next few hours, Hu Xiaoyao was on pins and needles. I didn't even get much sleep during my nap. I just got up and opened the stock software. But she was shocked again. How is that possible? Just see. The stock that had originally hit the limit down turned positive at noon and continued to rise sharply since the opening of the market this afternoon. Moreover, the price limit was reached, with hundreds of thousands of orders blocked, which seemed quite stable. She was shocked again. This is Yi Chen's first time buying stocks. It actually hit the ceiling, from the lower limit to the upper limit. The luck is simply incredible, and this profit suddenly rose from 20% to 50%. One day, he actually made 250 million. Yi Chen, how did you do it? Hu Xiaoyao stared blankly at the account in front of her, feeling like she was dreaming. What is the concept? 2.5 small goals. Even for most people, it is impossible to earn so much money in their lifetime. But Yi Chen, just one day, a few hours to earn. Hu Xiaoyao took a few deep breaths before she came to her senses from the shock. Well, let him do it himself. As long as the stop-loss line isn't hit, I won't bother with anything else. Hu Xiaoyao made up her mind, put stock investment behind her, and started to focus on her own work. AI Shang Medical Beauty. Sales Department. Yi Chen got up in the afternoon and took a look. I found that the stock was just as I had seen before, with the price limit up. Hey, I made 250 million in just one day. This feels so good. Yi Chen looked at the funds in his stock account, feeling excited and couldn't help laughing. And this is just the beginning. After today's daily limit, the next 9 trading days, every stock he bought would hit the daily limit, and although the total profit fluctuated, the final profit should be around 5 billion. Because as the principal increases, you will earn more if the stock yield remains unchanged. Now it is 750 million. If the increase is 20% tomorrow, then another 150 million will be earned. If the increase continues to be 20% on the 3rd day, you can earn 180 million. And so on. And there are 2 chances to hit the ceiling. No, I need to calm down. Also, we must be more cautious in our next operations to avoid being monitored by the main force. If the market crashes, we will lose money. Yi Chen took a deep breath and adjusted his mentality. He turned to look at the stocks of AI Shang Medical Beauty Company. As expected, at 2:30 in the afternoon, large funds entered the market for AI Shang Medical Beauty stocks. Millions of orders were eaten up in an instant. Soon, the stock opened the limit down and rose straight up. This gave retail investors who bought AI Shang Medical Beauty stocks a reassurance. Okay, the main capital is here to support the market brothers charge. The stock market hit a ceiling today. Could it be that our AI Shang Medical Beauty is also going to have a shocking comeback? I have to cover my position. It will lower the cost. Maybe I can even make a killing. Although AI Shang Medical Beauty had a product controversy recently, it was quickly clarified. Coupled with the new product launch, it continues to be a hot topic. It would be strange if the stock price didn't rise. Yes, this must be the main force's attempt to clean up the market. They want to wash us out. We must not be fooled. In the AI Shang Medical Beauty stock forum, everyone is discussing it heatedly. Many people saw hope and began to frantically cover their positions. There are also crazy retail investors who actually place large orders at this critical juncture, hoping to get a piece of the pie. With the entry of retail investors, the stock price fell from 10 points to more than 7 points. But the next second, all retail investors were dumbfounded. Countless large sell orders instantly brought the stock price down. In just half a minute, the price dropped from 7 points to 10 points, directly hitting the lower limit. And the number of orders was as high as 2 million. Unless there is a huge amount of funds to protect the market, there is a possibility of opening the limit down. And it's just a possibility. Who knows how many chips are there to crash the market? If things go wrong after the limit down is opened, there may be another market crash and the limit down will continue to be closed. What happened? Oh my God, he died young. Yeah, the price is hitting the lower limit. This is going to kill me. I entered the market when it was down 7 points. Did I buy at the top of the mountain? Now I can only pray that I can get out tomorrow. Otherwise, I will be trapped forever. Watching the stock hit the lower limit. Watching the retail investors in the stock forum chattering in fear. Peng Shuai in the Peng Group's office and Su Zhengyuan opposite him smiled at each other. Boss Su's trick of cutting off the source of the trouble really works. I want to see Lin Wanmo. Lin Wanmo, do you have the ability to turn the tide? Chapter 61, Zheng Xiangyun's attitude, holding hands for the first time. Nanshan River View Villa, facing the Hong Kong River and backed by Nanshan Mountain. This is the largest villa complex in Shanghai, with a superior geographical location and high prices. Those who can live here are either rich or noble. Just look at the row of luxury cars at the entrance of the villa. Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari. The Maserati driven by Lin Wanmo also seemed inconspicuous. This is where Lin Wanmo's parents live. We came here tonight because Lin Wanmo's mother strongly requested us to do so, and no one knew what Lin Wanmo's intention was in bringing Yi Chen with her. After passing the entrance and going up the slope, Lin Wanmo drove into the Lin family villa halfway up the mountain. Wanmo, you're back. Lin's father, Lin Yaod, looks to be in his early 50s, with slightly gray hair on his temples and looks quite kind. It's almost 7 o'clock. Why is it so slow? I told you in advance, but didn't you know to avoid the rush hour traffic and come back earlier? When Lin's mother, Zhang Xiangyun, saw Lin Wanmo, she was furious and started scolding her. She was wearing a long dress. Although she was about 45 or 46 years old, she was dressed quite exquisitely and obviously cared very much about her image. But when she saw Yi Chen coming down from the passenger seat, she was stunned for a moment, her face as gloomy as water. Who is he? Okay, Xiangyun, the child finally comes home, so stop nagging. Besides, there are outsiders here, so say less. Lin Yaod winked at Zhang Xiangyun and waved his hand. What do you know? Zhang Xiangyun glared at him, and her eyes fell on Yi Chen. Yi Chen looks about the same age as Lin Wanmo, and he is quite handsome. Moreover, he has a calm temperament, without the impetuousness of most young people, and his neither humble nor arrogant attitude makes Zhang Xiangyun feel a little different. Mom, this is Yi Chen, the sales manager of the company and also my friend. Lin Wanmo hesitated for a moment, but still couldn't say the word male. Hello, uncle and aunt. Yi Chen smiled slightly and bowed slightly. And at this time, he took out 2 boxes of Fashion Maudai and 2 sets of imported high-end cosmetics from the trunk. Just come here, what else do you need to bring? Lin Yaod rubbed his hands, smiled, and went forward to help him carry it. Zhang Xiangyun's gloomy expression also eased slightly, and she nodded at Yi Chen. Yi Chen and Lin Wanmo looked at each other and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. I bought these gifts at the shopping mall just before coming here. If I come here empty-handed, given Zhang Xiangyun's personality, who knows what she would do? After they entered the house, Zhang Xiangyun said to the nanny, Auntie Kui, the banquet can begin. Aunt Kui, Lin's nanny and chef, are good at cooking Shandong cuisine. This is not. Lin Wanmo hasn't been home for a long time. Today, she took great pains to put out all the 8 great dishes of Shandong cuisine. First-class tofu, sea cucumber with scallions, 9-turn large intestine, braised prawns, fried crispy double-fried dishes, chicken slices in lotus leaves, sweet and sour carp, crispy chicken. For Yi Chen, who was used to eating fast food, this was an eye-opener. He didn't expect that a family dinner would be so sumptuous. It really was worthy of being a wealthy family. But he had just come to the table and hadn't taken 2 bites yet. Zhang Xiangyun glanced at him and Lin Wanmo, squinting her eyes, and asked, Yi Chen, I heard from Wanmo that you are the sales manager of her company. I wonder which school you graduated from and where your parents are employed. As a woman, her instinct made her feel that the relationship between them might not be that simple. Mom, you're here again. Lin Wanmo frowned slightly and stared at Zhang Xiangyun with an unhappy look on her face. Yes, Xiangyun, we are enjoying our meal. What are you doing? Lin Yaod quickly winked at Zhang Xiangyun. Wanmo hasn't been home for so long, and we finally have a meal together. If you have anything to say, let's talk after we finish eating. Who knows? Zhang Xiangyun's face darkened, and she put down her chopsticks and said, Why are you all acting like mutes during dinner? I'm just asking, and you're already impatient. Yi Chen shook his head and smiled. There's nothing bad to say. I graduated from the Magic City Engineering Vocational College, and my parents are both farmers. Having said this, Lin Wanmo secretly thought that this was not good. Oh no! She knew her mother Zhang Xiangyun's character. Coming from a wealthy family, she had an almost crazy obsession with family background. I thought that Yi Chen would meet them eventually. They went on a trip and hadn't seen each other for a long time. They shouldn't ask Yi Chen all sorts of questions. Unfortunately, I miscalculated. Lin Wanmo thought to herself, feeling extremely regretful. The promotion of Yi Chen to sales manager was also based on this plan, and he will be promoted to sales director in the future. Only then, maybe he would be able to catch Zhang Xiangyun's eye. After hearing what Yi Chen said, not only Zhang Xiangyun, but even Lin Yaod was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that Yi Chen's background was so poor. According to Zhang Xiangyun's requirements, it doesn't have to be an absolute match, but at least it can't be too bad. Yi Chen does not have a high level of education and culture. He just graduated from a fake university. With a privileged background, even if he is not a top-tier billionaire, he must have at least tens of millions in assets, right? But Yi Chen's parents are farmers, not even high-level intellectuals, so how could this be possible? See, Lin Yaod, this is what you usually do. I won't eat it anymore, you guys eat. When Zhang Xiangyun said this, she snorted coldly, stood up and went to the second floor. Yi Chen, don't bother with her, she just has such a bad temper. Lin Yao laughed and quickly tried to smooth things over. However, Yi Chen shook his head and said, "This is normal, huh?" He looked at Lin Wanmo and was stunned for a moment. Just see. Under the table, Lin Wanmo grabbed his right hand and looked at him apologetically. Yi Chen felt warm in his heart. I can't change my parents' background, and I can't change the school I go to, but I can change myself. He raised his head, looked at Lin Yao and spoke word by word. Lin Yao nodded and said, "Not bad, young man, you are ambitious. I am optimistic about you." Certainly. This is just a polite remark. In his opinion, there are more than tens of millions of people with ambitions like Yi Chen. But how many of them can eventually reach the pinnacle of life? In today's capitalist society, it is very difficult to survive without connections, relationships, and financial support. Even his Lin family had relied on 3 generations of hard work to carve out a niche in this demon city. But the atmosphere has eased. It can be seen that Lin Yao has a gentle personality and is not as strong and aggressive as Zhang Xiangyun. A meal. Both the host and the guests enjoyed themselves. After eating, Yi Chen accompanied Lin Wanmo for a walk outside the villa. "Yi Chen, I'm sorry for what happened just now. I really didn't expect my mother to be like that." Looking at Lin Wanmo with an apologetic look on his face, Yi Chen smiled slightly and shook his head. "It has nothing to do with you. Besides, I'm a big-hearted person, what do you think?" While speaking, Yi Chen reached out and pulled up Lin Wanmo's right hand. Lin Wanmo's pretty face turned slightly red, and her heart beat faster. This is different from before. This is the first time that Yi Chen takes the initiative to hold hands. A feeling of extreme peace came over me. She couldn't help but move closer to Yi Chen and snuggled into his arms. Chapter 62, Favorability Improvement Reward, Hennessy Viper GT Supercar. The second floor of the villa. Master bedroom. Bang banged. Hearing the knock on the door, Zhang Xiangyun, who had left early, frowned. "Come in." Lin Yao walked in with some pastries and a cup of coffee. "Xiangyun, that behavior just now is not the style of our Lin family." When Zhang Xiangyun heard this, she slammed the table and was furious. "Those words should have been said by you as the father, but you ignored everything and let her do whatever she wanted. I cleaned up your mess, and you still have the nerve to criticize me." Having said that, she pointed to the computer in front of her. Look for yourself. AI Shang Medical Beauty has been plagued by constant turmoil. The product issues were just resolved, and now the stock price has hit the lower limit again. The AI Shang Medical Beauty stock forum is in chaos. There were all kinds of explanations, but without exception, panic began to spread. If there are 1 or 2 more limit downs, the stock price will definitely be halved. By then, in the short term, I'm afraid AI Shang Medical Beauty will no longer be able to gain any benefits from the stock market. When Lin Yao heard this, he shook his head. "I didn't expect this. Is there another problem with AI Shang Medical Beauty? You know our daughter's abilities very well. Someone must be targeting her." Zhang Xiangyun couldn't help but roll her eyes when she heard this. "Certainly." She took a deep breath and pointed to the announcement of AI Shang Medical Beauty on the table. "I just checked. Wang Kao is originally a sales manager, but he has no background at all. How could he have made AI Shang Medical Beauty look so bad? He has someone behind him, most likely that bastard from the Peng Group." Having said that, a sinister, murderous look appeared on Zhang Xiangyun's face. Lin Yao raised an eyebrow and said, "Isn't this perfect? Peng Shuai has been pursuing Wanmo, why not help them? Grant me your blessing?" "Oh, Lin Yao, stop testing me. You know exactly who Peng Shuai is. How could I possibly push my daughter into this fire?" Zhang Xiangyun laughed out of anger. Then Yi Chen. Yi Chen is not an option either. Although he is quite satisfactory in all aspects, his education and family background are too poor. Even if he marries into Wanmo, it will be a disgrace to her. It is absolutely not an option. I thought so too, but when I looked at Wanmo, she seemed to be very optimistic about Yi Chen. Even watching closely won't work. I'll warn her later not to do anything rash otherwise. Having said this, Zhang Xiangyun was suddenly stunned. "What's wrong? You suddenly look like this." Lin Yao asked. "Tell me, our daughter. Could it be that she really did something with that boy Yi Chen? That shouldn't happen. Wanmo has always been obedient and sensible. She has never done anything wrong since she was a child, if she gets pregnant." "Stop being such a pessimist. Lin Yao, I'm telling you, if anything really happens, I won't let you off." "No, what does this have to do with me?" The two of them were discussing. Yi Chen looked at the time, and it was already past 9 o'clock in the evening. He said to Lin Wanmo, Wanmo, I'm afraid the stock issue is just as I expected. Someone is maliciously shorting the stock. Yeah, I know. I've been watching it all afternoon. I'll just follow your suggestion. Lin Wanmo nodded, her pretty face flushed. Okay, I'll go back first, and you should get some rest early. Yi Chen glanced at her slightly bulging belly and warned her. Well, be careful on the road. Lin Wanmo nodded obediently. How could she look like an icy beauty CEO at all? It wasn't until Yi Chen walked away that she reacted and couldn't help sticking out her tongue. Lin Wanmo, what are you thinking about? Originally, bringing him to meet my parents this time was already out of line. Do you also want to tell them that you are pregnant with Yi Chen's child? It's just, he's always thinking about you, even remaining calm despite the humiliation just now. Shouldn't you do something for him? Unconsciously,